start the show? We started. Well, I mean, yeah. Well, what you want me? What do you want me to? I mean, all right. Look, whatever. Hey, good morning. Good morning, everybody. Hopefully you had a good week and had a chance to catch up on all things Blerd and Nerd. I'm your boy, the real Vince Taylor, and of course, today we got the homie with the new, fresh, spanking new green screen. What's up there, Yazzie? Ow! What's that, a mic? Oh my God! Oh my God, it's Yas! What's up, Yas?
What's up, Vince? Good morning, y'all. How you guys doing this morning?
I mean, we good with you in the background. Whoa, and look at, speaking of backgrounds, look, somebody brought the whole.
Oh, yeah, you know how we do it, baby. You know what we doing over here.
Yeah. I'm seeing Holly Bear's abs over here in the corner, and her as
everything black, everything.
Yeah,
black,
man, the dude, my man's got Meteor Man in the background. You cannot deny.
Wait. He's got Blank Man in the fucking back.
Blank Man is in the background now. Silver Surfer. I'm confused. Like, this looks like black superheroes, but the Silver Surfer. What part of Compton is he from?
He's the albino cousin.
He's a Silver Surfer, right? Okay, cool. Yeah, all right. And I'm Vince Taylor. Today we gonna talk about a whole bunch of cool stuff, man. I ain't even gonna sit there and blow you with it. Let's get to it. All right, yo, so we back, and it's a lot going on. First and foremost, I ain't even going to sit here and BS with you. We got some dope behind guests that we're going to introduce to you in a moment, so don't go nowhere. Like, I have somebody who is going to be coming to a screen near you, burlesque style, so don't move that screen because I'm going to introduce you to her. And we have somebody who is in an Academy Award nominated movie that is also appearing with us, who you can currently scream right now, not now, but after the show, once we get done talking and everything, then you can screen them on Netflix right now. I mean, like, we're going to tell you all about them so that you can stop the show after we get done and go watch them right now. But I wanted to start off just by doing our little recap. And first, let me go ahead and bring in our other fellow Blerd. What's up, Tyrone?
Good morning. Good morning.
Man, I'm feeling so bald. I've never felt more bald than I did with everybody on this screen looking like they are posters on some hair salon wall, and I'm sitting here looking like baby Mr. Clean. It's all good though. It's all good because you know what I don't have to do? Hair maintenance. Hallelujah. Except for when I wake up and have to comb it and all that. What's up, Tyrone? You good, bro?
Yeah, chilling, man. I mean, I know that your routine only involves a little bit of polish on the top, you know what I mean, shine that thing up. I'm a little jealous, but I got a shampoo and condition and all that, but
be jealous.
It's a hard life. Being this pretty is tough.
I know. I mean, I don't know, but I'm sure. And Ty was just talking about. I didn't know that you had God of War too. So we all do God of War. Everybody on this screen right now is God of War. Like, we've all done it, and I'm the only jackass who ain't beat it. Like, I have given up on God of War because, frankly, the shit is too hard. I'm at the point where I have to. No, I'm stuck on the mountain. I'm stuck on the mountain. Where you got to get through all of those little modes and you got to beat all these folks. It might even be optional. I don't even know for sure if the board that I'm on is for real, if I need to do it, but I'm stuck on it. And I just gave up playing it, bro.
You should probably go down to like the easy beginner level and then play it just so you can enjoy the game because clearly it's too challenging for you.
I was thinking about doing that, but my pride, though, I'd rather just not play the game no more.
The storyline of that game is cinematic. It's like a movie. It literally is like a movie, bro. Like when you're playing the game, you're looking forward to the cutscenes because the cutscenes are like, I mean, and not even just the cutscenes, throughout the dialogue, throughout the whole game, you got the little dwarves cursing you the fuck out.
Yeah.
Like literally cursing you the fuck out. They like, yo, what the fuck, man?
Yeah. Little Gimli and them. Well, we'll talk about God of War a little while, man. But I do want to get y'all opinion on this week's episode of Falcon and the Winter Soldier, which I actually thought was pretty good. But I do have to say that it is finally coming to fruition. I did try to warn you guys. I said this show is literally going to end up being something like a Lethal Weapon, something like some sort of, literally, if you look at the posters, you can literally sit here and see how it all pans out. You got my man Sam with my homeboy Bucky, right? Literally, you could take this out and say, all right, well, Sam and Bucky are the Marvel version of Lethal Weapon 4 or Lethal Weapon 3, or this is Marvel's Miami Vice. Which one would you rather? Or, I don't know, maybe add somebody else, Marvel's Beverly Hills Cop. Either way, they are doing the buddy cop thing with the black-white person. You cannot deny it, bro. That's what's happening right now. The whole episode is buddy, Sam and Bucky. That's the theme we going for. Don't tell me that I'm a liar. Don't tell me I don't know what I'm talking about. Tyrone, tell me I'm lying, bro. Am I lying? Come on, Optimus. Come on.
No, I think you're right. I think that was exactly what Marvel's going for. They kind of build it and sold it as a kind of a quote buddy cop sort of thing going forward, and that was how they advertised it and stuff. So yeah, that's no surprise to me. I think I like their dynamic. I like how playful it is, I guess. But they, sometimes they're dropping truth bombs on each other, and you're like, oh, okay, damn, they're really processing some stuff right now. They're actually talking like longtime friends. So yeah, there's some real soul to it. But yeah, I think they're really leaning into it.
Yeah, Yas, what you think about the episode?
I love the episode. I thought it was pretty hilarious. No lie, I was waiting for Bucky to beat the shit out of the new Captain America. Like, no lie. When he got out of the truck, I was kind of surprised. I was like, "You didn't hit him? You didn't hit him?"
Yeah.
Yeah. Spoilers, by the way.
Well, spoilers. We're definitely going to talk about that. I mean, we do spoil this morning, so don't even trip. I mean, if you ain't seen it, then it's your fault. But Ty, I'm assuming, Ty, you probably have an opinion. What you think about this last episode, fam?
I mean, it was a slow episode. I mean, it for me, it was more about getting, acclimated to the new agent, the guy who's playing Cap. Mm-hmm. And if I think if you're trying to portray him as an asshole, you're doing a good job. You're doing a good job of it. I was actually a little impressed with the way that he handled the shield.
Really?
Yeah, I thought he handled the shield pretty well. And I don't mean carrying it. I just mean, in the fight scenes, I thought he handled the shit. I mean, he did some like smooth ass shit. His man fell off the fucking fell off the back of the truck, and he just like threw it up under him and caught. Like I was like, what? You know what I'm saying? I never seen Cap do nothing like that. Now I've seen Cap beat you down with it and throw it, and you know what I'm saying, and it come back to him, but throw it up under somebody's butt while they about to hit. That was pretty precise. And it's kind of weird to see him with a gun. That is like really weird because absolutely.
Why?
That shot was clean too.
Just because coming from the Steve Rogers Cap, he wasn't using any guns.
Bullshit.
When?
The very first scene,
the first Avenger,
the very first scene in the very first Captain America, the very first thing he does is kick open a door and fire a gun into the bad guys.
Hold on a second, man. Are you talking about when when he first became Captain America, like way back in 19, you know what I'm saying?
Well, you making it sound like that don't count. Like he's still Captain America, you know what I'm saying?
Well, because I was really talking about the present day Steve Rogers that we've seen in the fact that you would go that far back. I mean, it's kind of, that's typical you, but
oh my God, it happened, bro.
Let's just say
don't whitewash him,
the predated Steve Rogers, who insisted on doing things the right way without guns and everything like that. It looked a little bit, that's why I said it looked weird to me to see in the very first scene that him come out with a gun, especially present day. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I was like, yo, that's why I was like, oh, okay, we shooting. You know what I'm saying? Because you know what I mean? Like, I've seen Falcon with the little joint on the back, doing all of the shooting and everything like that. You know what I'm saying? So I mean, this is something we've seen from him consistently. So like this Captain America you're showing right here, you know what I'm saying? He's not using no guns and nothing like that, bro. He's like, you know what I mean? He just is hand to hand. But I get it.
So
He's got the super soldier shit, so I get it.
Yeah. Well, go ahead.
I'm sorry about that. Now, I was saying, if you think about it, like he's basically a cop. Like this, this U.S. agent, he's essentially just a cop. So he's running around, you know, acting all like, you know, I'm Mr. America, Captain America, and just also shooting at people because, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, really, yeah.
Every time I see him on screen, my brain starts playing that song, Secret Agent Man. Like, I just literally, every single time I see him, I'm like, oh my God, why do I keep thinking about this? Like,
so do we, I mean, are we liking the quote unquote new Cap, who I think we know in the comic books as U.S. Agent, all right? And U.S. Agent, for those of y'all who don't know, is also a super soldier who actually, some would argue, is even stronger than Captain America. So there's a possibility that he's just withholding his strength as of now. I get the sense we are being fed for the hellified misdirection. We're being told that that this new Steve Rogers, this agent, is a hero. He's working for the United States. But I get the sense it's a little deeper than that. And him and Baron Zemo maybe in cahoots. There's a lot of misdirections being thrown around right now. And I think that what gave it away for me was when they went to his high school. First of all, big up to John Winters for having a black high school band. Come on out to greet this dude. I'm like, all right, bro, I see you. But I'm going to take that same big up back and take all them points back because he has 0 lips. Like, where are his lips? Why does he not have lips? Like, what's going on with the lack of lips? Yas, can you please explain to me why Mr. Walker don't got no how does he kiss or eat or like what exactly is going on here? Can you please give us a rundown?
He's an android, and he was made after the depiction of the old man from Up. You know, we're getting a glimpse of what he looked like as a as a 20-year-old man. So you know, this is what we're portraying. Wow. This is the new Captain America right here, the secret agent. You know, yeah.
So agent, he has a Wakandan vibranium shield. And he's a super soldier with serum, but he could easily be defeated by a whole shitload of balloons that fly him in the air.
I did appreciate, though, how they did like change up his costume and the emblem. That way, you know, it's not exactly like, you know what I'm saying, Captain America's, because that would have definitely pissed me off. Because like he's not Captain America. You know what I'm saying? Steve Rogers is Captain America. Like,
well, I mean, some would argue that Talim, Captain America is he who holds the shield, which is why Bucky is so mad at Falcon for giving up the shield. I mean, after all, what is Captain America other than really just a super soldier with super serum that fights for America with the shield? I mean, what do you want? Cap is gone. Steve Rogers has died of old age. So what are we just going to let his legacy completely go just you know, I mean, do we discontinue it? You know, I don't know if that's how it works, Ty.
Well, I mean, now that you brought that up, it's funny because we had a chance in this episode to come across Mr. Isaiah Washington, and Mr. Isaiah Washington was also a former Captain America, a former, you know, representative of the Shield. So you know, it's what we're seeing is like you just mentioned, the legacy of Captain America, and that's what this episode is. It's pretty much Bucky being upset the whole episode about the legacy that Steve left to Sam, and the fact that he feels as though Sam is not really taking it, seriously, and he's taking it for granted. And I think also there's an underlying desire by Bucky to right all of the wrongs as the Winter Soldier, and so he kind of feels like he should have, got the chance, knowing knowing everything that he had been through to get the shield. So it's really unfolding. I really want to applaud Kevin Feige and just how Feige and how he's putting these storylines together and writing these brilliant pieces, because the fact that he touched on, because he didn't have to, but the fact that he touched on the neighborhood, and the fact that the police just stopped them for talking,
right,
and then like the temperature and how it changed from ready to shoot you to hey man, that's Sam, that's the Falcon,
right?
Oh, I'm sorry. He's taking present day events, applying them to his storyline and doing it in such a way that the transition to it is flawless, and I applaud that.
I was gonna say, Tyrone, before we bring in our guests, that I think that one thing that they're clearly doing is they are mashing up current events with the current Marvel MCU, and I think that they're doing it doing pretty well with it. This is the second episode now where we've seen them interject the quote unquote Black experience into the Marvel universe. We've seen the denial of a loan. We've seen Falcon have to be more of an Avenger than just Sam, and he gets more Avenger privilege than anything else, right? So I think that this is clearly them trying to make sure that is not lost on him, and it's probably a part of his growth too. What you think?
I think you're right. I think not only current events but also American history. To touch on what about Isaiah, Isaiah was actually I was informed by a friend who's like he's a big longtime Captain America fan, longtime reader and stuff, and supposedly Isaiah was actually part of the super soldier serum program when they were trying to perfect it, and they were using Black soldiers as experiments, basically. Like they were like, hey, we got to make sure that this is good. And then they perfected it with Isaiah, but they weren't trying to have a Black Captain America, so they put him in jail. And they were just like, yep, Steve Rogers, you're the first one, and congratulations, and you did it. You know what I mean? And so they're actually addressing that and embracing that story, and and kind of making it so it's not just like this glorious America and we're always right and everything. And I think that's a really powerful storyline. It's a really powerful way to portray it. And also I like that they're just kind of they're telling people like, hey, this is where we are, and if you're on board, we're gonna tell the story and we're gonna have a good time. But if you're not on board with this, if you're gonna be all sensitive about it and stuff like that, and if you're gonna get all up in arms, then you can get off the train right now.
Right.
Yeah, absolutely. And I love that. I mean, it reminds me of a scene that I was just watching American Gods, and in American Gods, Shadow is confronted because somebody goes missing, and he has to the police come to him, and the police they basically they're like yo, did you
everybody in the
girl?
Town, not just the police, but everybody in the town starts like, look,
everybody's looking at house.
Like, oh, it's like everybody knows about you but you.
Like, but my point is, Ty, after he's exonerated, so to speak, the police chief comes up to him and he's like, yo, my bad about the whole, me asking if you kidnapped, the child thing. I mean, it looks really bad because, I'm, Caucasian and, you're, whatever. We're not a racist town. And then Shadow has the best line ever. He says, well, this town is still in America, isn't it? Yeah, man. So that happens, man. And sometimes you have stuff like that happening in towns. There are little towns that have what they call hillbillies sometimes. And nobody would know that better than my next guy that I'm bringing in here. I want y'all to meet. This is like my dog, my boy, like we go back like things on crack. This dude, we down like 4 flats. And I've known him for stand-up because we both do stand up. He was on tour with Felipe Esperanza for a while. The winner of America of the Last Comic Standing, if I'm not mistaken. But not only has he been in that, but this is the only person on this panel ever who is actually in the Marvel universe, with the exception of one other. But my man right here actually did a scene in The Gifted, if you don't recall. The Gifted was a show about the mutants that were, basically pushed into hiding after the whole mutant uprising and, all that good stuff. But he's doing a lot of big things right now. He's acting his ass off. He's up in Atlanta, and he's doing so much stuff that I just had to bring him on. But one of the most notorious things that I think you may know him for is a scene that he had in this movie that just recently came out called The Hillbilly Elegy. If you don't know about The Hillbilly Elegy, it stars a few people such as Lois Lane and Cruella DeVille. Hallelujah. I did that for you, Yas. And he has his own scene in this part as well. He kills his scene, might I add. I don't want to show the whole thing because I want y'all to watch it, but you will definitely see him on there. I want y'all to help me welcome to the platform none other than the one and only Adam Murray, coming all the way from where he at. Yo, what up, Adam?
What's up, man?
Yo, you good? All right. You know what? All right. Yay, there he is. What's up, Adam? You good, man? It's good to see you, family.
I'm good, man. I'm good. I'm happy to be here. It's early as shit, man. I don't know how you guys are this right.
Oh, come on, man. It's call time, bro. I know you can do call time. You know what that is.
Yeah, sure.
Well, y'all.
Normally, I'm like if there's call time, like there's breakfast, you get to take back your trailer. You know what I mean? Like there's a whole thing. I got to see someone who does my hair. They don't do it.
Oh, wow. Okay. Well, that explains a lot. Well, how's everything going, man? Yo, first of all, congratulations on your success. Congratulations on landing these big roles. I just want to know what it's like to be in a scene with, first of all, I don't even know if you were in the same scenes with Amy Adams and all of them, but you were on set. And just talk about that experience, man. Like, what's that like, bro?
Well, first off, it was. I was just excited to be there. I got to spend all day with Ron Howard, who was fucking amazing.
Wow.
I walked on set. The first time I met him was walking into this Radio Shack thing, and I was just looking around, going, "Holy shit! They fucking recreated a Radio Shack." You don't see it, but it's stocked with like real stuff you'd see in a Radio Shack. Like they had all the remote control cars that were shit that Radio Shack made, and they had like all the little banks and weird stuff. I don't know how much you remember of a Radio Shack, but they used to have their own weird products that none of them worked really well, but they had all of them. Somehow they had acquired a bunch of like real old products from the 80s, and I walked in and was just like going, "Holy shit, look at all this stuff." And he popped up from behind the counter, and I was like, "Holy fuck, that's fucking Ron Howard." And he just walked right over, like, "Hey, what's up, man?" He told me what we were going to do. So Glenn Close, as I understand it, was actually supposed to be in that scene. That's what they told me when I was doing the wardrobe fitting. But she didn't get out of hair and makeup in time. And so they moved her line from that scene into the next scene. That's apparently why they have that whole like argument in the car. Like I guess they were gonna have that, but it's longer because she wasn't in the scene. But dude, it was fucking amazing. Like when they had they shut down the whole town. Like when they filmed that shit, they had the majority of the town they were basically running, and they had this business next door. Like the whole block was taken up. You can't see in the movie, but they had like the whole front of that business is glass, and then out front there's a sidewalk, and then there was one lane of the road going one way, and then this median that was the size of like a football field, and then the other side of the road going the other way. They had cars going, and they had like people walking and having picnics and stuff. And when they called cut, it was like the Truman Show. Like people's cars started going backwards, people started walking backwards and shit. And you don't see any of it in the movie. Like it was just there just in case the camera happened to pan over. But dude, the other thing that was crazy, like I know you like technology and gadgets and stuff. The camera they used was like nothing I've ever seen.
Yeah.
Like they had a guy that basically he was holding the sensor of the camera, right? Like it completely detached from the camera, and it had this group of wires about this big that came out. It was like a fire hose that went over his shoulder and connected to a guy with a backpack on that was holding the camera. And so the guy was just basically able to maneuver this little sensor around to film. And they had someone else on focus. Like, it was the craziest shit I've ever seen. I didn't even know they had that stuff for a camera. Like, at least three people on just the one camera. It was fucking crazy.
Yeah. That's the same thing I use to hold my junk. Throw it over the shoulder, keep it on the back until it's time for usage. Well, that's crazy, man. What was this? I mean, I'm assuming that this was in Atlanta or somewhere in Georgia.
It was in Macon. It was in Macon, and it was one of the projects I've done where like they had us sign an NDA, so we're not supposed to say anything. But like, I showed up to Macon. And it's a small town, and I look like I look. And so I went out to eat, and like everyone there knows everyone. And so when I walk in, everyone's like, "Who the fuck's this dude?" And I sat down at the bar, and everyone wants to walk over and be like, "So who are you? And why are you here? What's going on?" Dude, I remember going to this bar one day, and I was like, they were asking what I do, and I'm like, I'm a comedian, which was the wrong thing to say because immediately, okay, we know why you're here, and I was like, I'm just here to sightsee. They're like, you're here for the Glenn Close and Amy Adams movie, and I was like, how the fuck do you know? Like, you see the trailers, like, it's a small town. They still gotta walk out and eat. We've seen them. We know they're here.
Yeah, man.
And I was like, God damn, man, like, it's basically like. You remember doing shows in like DeLand? Like, small it's that kind of town that they filmed it in. They filmed it in Macon, which is the only thing that's famous for is the Allman Brothers. Which, speaking of which, when they shut down that whole street to do the Radio Shack scene, they had like, first off, it was hot as shit in that little building. Like, I don't know if the AC didn't work well or whatever, but I can't imagine how much it must have cost just to rent an entire, I don't know how long they rented that fucking building for, but you can see it's a whole fucking Radio Shack. Like, that wasn't on a set. They legitimately built a Radio Shack in the middle of this town.
Wow.
And we were next, they had like the next couple, like, businesses or whatever, they had rented out for the day, and so they had rooms we could just sit in that had AC, and one of them had like our chairs, those tall like actor chairs.
Yeah.
Mine just said something generic like crew or actor or whatever. Then next to me was the kid's chair. I forget that dude's name, and then Glenn Close, and then the fourth one was like, I forget what exactly it said, but it was something like Mr. Piffles the Fantastic. And it's me and like my handlers and the people that are in charge of making certain I don't do dumb shit are sitting in there with me, and I was like, whose fucking chair is that? Like, is that what Ron Howard goes by on set? That's pretentious. Like, are you serious? Like, what the fuck is that? And they're like, that's Glenn Close's dog. Like, are you fucking serious? She has a chair for her dog? Like, what the fuck is that?
That's funny.
Man, step your game up, Adam. Maybe one day you'll get a chair like her dog.
Dude, her dog has apparently like 40,000 followers on Instagram. And I was like, oh, okay. So that dog is more famous than I am. That's more about Fluffy over here than they give a shit about. Okay, all right. Fine. That's fine. Dude,
well, yo, it's crazy that you found a Radio Shack that looks like a Radio Shack, but what's not crazy is that there's actual still Radio Shack products out there, because I'm sure all that stuff went to storage. Ain't nobody buying none of that shit, yo.
Right after that movie came out, like Radio Shack, like resurrected or whatever. Like they're online only now. They're coming back, which is
right.
You have no idea how many people message me like, "Dude, Radio Shack's coming back. You should." I don't care but so funny. While we were filming, like that kid, who he was great, but he's like 11 or 12, like when we were filming, and he doesn't know who the fuck Ron Howard is, right?
Right.
You know, he hasn't seen Apollo 13, I'm guessing.
Right.
You know?
Or Andy Griffith.
Right? Yeah. No clue. But he knows that Ron Howard is a big deal, clearly, because, you know, once you step foot on this set, you can tell it's a $45 million movie. Like, they were spending some bucks. So he knew Ron Howard was a big deal. And so while we were there, it seemed like he was trying to garner favor with him. Like, he was like, you know, was that good? You like that kind of thing? And then at one point he called him Rob. Like, and Ron was like, actually, it's Ron. And you could tell there was that moment where he was just going to beat himself up over that for the rest of his life. He did that, like, and then, like, tried to act like everything was fine. You know,
yeah, that's crazy. Well, I hope he gets over that. What I'm not over yet is your role in the Marvel universe, bro. Like, I'm really interested in what it was like to be on set with the one and only, what I call Jason Pitts, from the game. I don't know if you used to watch the game, Yas, but if any of y'all watched The Gifted, it was a dope show. I think it got a bad rap because it came out at a bad time when Marvel was making its transition. It took all of its shows off of Netflix and did all this other stuff. But the show was so dope, man. And I look up one day because Adam has all these NDAs that he signs, and I look and I'm watching the show, and I'm like, yo, that's Adam. That's Adam. That's Adam. Not Black Adam, but my Adam. You know what I'm saying? And yo, I was just like, yo, he's standing in the scene. I just want to know, like, what all did this entail, bro? Like, how did this come about? What was it like? Was it a whole bunch of takes? Did you originally have speaking lines? Did they cut any scenes? Oh, yeah. Was it hot out there? Did you shake any hands? Did you meet any? I mean, what? Just give me the experience, man. What's popping?
So, auditioning for stuff like that, they don't tell you what it is. So, I found out from someone else when we were filming, because I think this was season 2.
Yep.
Some people who had worked on it already knew. Like big things have code words for it. Like the Ron Howard movie was just called Code Word Ivan, but this was actually called Heaven. So everything on set, instead of saying The Gifted, because they didn't want things to come out or spoilers or whatever.
Right.
They called everything Heaven, and they had like, I think I actually have a script for it in the closet I can find that showed the word Heaven, but they made it look like that was legitimately the name of the show. So on everyone that's like an official person walking around, PAs or whatever, they have these like tags they wear. And it all said Heaven. All the scripts said Heaven season 2 or whatever. And that way all the extras, like, especially, I guess they're doing it especially for the extras, but literally for everyone, like, they act like that's the name of the show is Heaven. And you don't find out until it airs. Like, there's been some other stuff that I've auditioned for that, like, they just say it's unnamed. But, that's just the way it is. They don't tell you so that spoilers don't come out. Like I've auditioned for like 3 different seasons of Stranger Things, and they'll do things like they'll send you scripts that are fake, because they just want to. They're like, all right, this is close to what it'll be, but they just want to see if you can act in this particular scenario, and then if you get cast right before you go to set or whatever, or maybe a day or 2 before, they'll give you the actual script that you're going to, or they won't, on shows like that, they might not give you the whole episode. For The Gifted, they gave me the whole episode, but for a lot of things, they might just give you your sides. But yeah, there's been other things that I can't talk about that I've gotten to audition for and stuff. I mean, I've come real close to getting some real fucking awesome stuff, but
yeah, man, you're
quite hit it yet.
You're definitely on your way. We can tell.
So booking The Gifted, you're at like it was hot as shit, but their budget was like a blockbuster movie. Like they had, I don't know if you've been on sets like that before, but they have like those things they hold up to either block out the sun or have like reflectors or whatnot. They had them on cranes, man. Like
whoa,
they were the size of like above us right now is this actually not in that shot, in a different shot. They had this like when I'm running up to the car, they had a thing the size of like a swimming pool in the air above us, blocking out the sun a little bit. Like, I mean, it was bananas, man. Like they had, you can't even see it in that shot, but they've got these massive vehicles, like tank looking things back there that, say like fucking, zombie or not zombie, mutant, like recovery unit or whatever. So, I mean, if anyone that had any sort of brain would be like, okay, this has something to do with, Marvel or X-Men or whatever, because it says mutants right on it. But dude, the bald guy, I don't know if that's the one you're talking about. He was in that other show.
Yeah.
We got to hang around and just talk. And I did that thing where I go, like, you got a little something on your shirt, and you look down, and I, hit, bopped him in the nose. And my foot right there, her name's Jennifer. We became friends she was in Stranger Things.
Oh.
So if you remember the scene where they go to like the fair, she's the ride operator on the God, what's it called? The Gravitron, where she starts yelling at the kids to sit down or whatever. She's in, I think it's like season 4 or whatever. But so we became friends. But like, so I pointed to the guy, Shirley, you got something right there, because we broke for lunch and then come back and looked down. I went boop, and she's like, dude, what are you doing? I'm like, it's hysterical. Why not?
Well,
you don't know who this is? I'm like, I don't know. She's like, you haven't seen. Like, I remember they had a van. It was so hot. They had a van that they would sit us in just so we could be inside AC. Like when you're doing shows like that, like I was telling you, they had that other building we'd walk to instead of the Radio Shack, because they don't want your makeup or whatever to run or like if I start sweating real bad, my hair starts to droop or whatever. So for I guess it's more important for people with more makeup on than me, but they because typically they're like, yeah, this is the weird look we want. Like,
right.
But yeah, they sat us in like an air-conditioned van. The extras they just had standing outside. I felt bad for the extras. I've come to find that they say that extras kind of get treated like cattle, and it's pretty true, man. They just left those dudes fucking standing outside we were out there all goddamn day, and it was hot. Yeah. They were just trying to find shade and shit. But those were the 2 projects where I had a stand-in, a dude that's just vaguely like me. Like if you ordered me on Wish, like he would just come in and like stand when they're like getting the camera ready and stuff.
Well, let me ask you this, Adam. I mean, you're in the MCU. Are you a Marvel fan? Do you watch Marvel stuff? What's going on?
You guys were talking about Falcon and Winter Soldier. I've only seen the first episode because we had a crazy storm come through here. The last day or two, and the house flooded. And we've been dealing with that. So I didn't get to see the episode that came out last night. But the dude that's playing the new Captain America, that's Kurt Russell's son.
Yeah, Mr. No Lips himself. Yeah, he does look like Kurt Russell, Yas, a little bit. I know you posted about that, Yas.
He's got Goldie Hawn's hair for sure.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Oh, now that you mentioned it, it makes sense. Yeah, Yas. Look, I know you posted about him being Kurt Russell's son. Do we like him? I don't know if I don't. I mean, I feel like they're trying to kind of make us like him a little bit.
Yeah, I feel like they're kind of making us like him. Some people do like off rip like him, and I'm not like hating on them for it. You know what I'm saying? Like everyone to each his own. You know, your opinion isn't important. You know, but yeah, I don't know. I'm gonna have to warm up to this dude because so far, like I do agree with Ty. His action scenes, they're pretty on point. But I mean, if he's a super soldier, that's what's expected. So I don't know. I kind of want to see him become more of his own instead of, like, I don't know. We'll see.
I mean, he can't be of his own, Yas. He's stepping in Captain America's shoes. Tyrone.
I know, but he's still his own with being being an agent. So we'll see.
Yeah, I don't know. I haven't seen the second episode, but I mean, are you saying you're not certain if you like the guy, the actor, or the?
I mean, I don't know the guy, you know what I'm saying? But I know the actor is playing the role of somebody who's supposed to take over Captain America's spot. And we know that we were talking about before we were able to bring you in. We were talking about how he's actually U.S. agent from the comic books. And we know that I don't know if everybody knows, but in the comic book, U.S. agent has a pretty dominant role. Him and Battlestar, who we also met, Battlestar, who is a big deal in the comics as well. They're making their on-screen debut, but they're doing it through the guys, which is dope because once again we have Marvel doing what Marvel does, which is stick to the script. This is a scene from the actual comic book. They literally are doing what the comic book, because the comics are good as they are. We don't have to go and remix it, right, Tyrone? I mean, what are you feeling about Mr. No Lip America?
Yeah, I think you kind of touched on something earlier. You were like, if they're trying to cast somebody who's like kind of an asshole, they're doing a good job, and I think that's exactly what they're doing with this guy, because he's kind of, he's got this sincerity, like I just want to help people, I just want to be the guy, I want to do my best, but there's something under that we can't quite put our finger on just yet. And you can start to see it as the episode moves along. You're just like, I don't like this guy. There's something about this guy. And there's a lot there. I think that, he seems kind of entitled. He seems like, like everybody should just fall in line behind him. He's always addressing everybody as though he is superior. And I think that there's a lot to unpack there. And I'm looking forward to where this goes. I think that, I think what we're going to find is he's going to represent the ugliest parts of America instead of, the Steve Rogers version representing the best of America.
Yeah. I mean, he reeks of douche and white privilege, in my opinion.
Yeah.
And it's starting to come about. I wonder, he was so quick to chase down Falcon and Winter Soldier when they were chasing all of those folks way in Munich. But where the fuck was he when he was getting stopped by the police, in Baltimore? You got a tracker on me, homeboy. Why you didn't just page one of your people and tell them I'm the fucking Falcon and I shouldn't have to worry about all this because I'm a goddamn Avenger? I mean, Tylee, I don't know if this is what they're trying to do, trigger us, but I'm triggered, bro. First of all, the little man called him Black Falcon, and he was like, I'm not black. He's like, nigga, you are the black. You are a Falcon. You is Black Falcon. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know what they were trying to do with that scene, but we unveiled 3 black superheroes in this episode. All right, we have the new Captain America, which we know is going to come by the way of Falcon. I mean, look, let's just get it out the way. We know it's going to happen. That's what the comic books say, so it has to happen. We have Battlestar, who comes as U.S. agent's assistant. Assistant pimp. And then we've got your boy Isaiah, who we know from back in the day, you know what I'm saying? Well, was a super soldier, likened to Captain America. And if you think about it, he kind of looks the way Captain America did when Captain America finally passed the shield on to Sam. So Ty, I'm trying to wonder before we bring our next guest in, I'm trying to figure out why is it that Bucky hasn't aged?
He's been on ice.
Oh yeah.
All right, wrap that up.
All right, moving right along.
When you guys watch shows like this, does it ever bother you how sometimes they get physics wrong? Like in that squirrel suit scene in the first episode, Like when the guy just like kind of cruises right into the helicopter, it's like that
Right?
downwash from that helicopter would have been hell on that scroll suit. Or just
Yeah.
like, go, you know what? I'm gonna throw another dude. I'm gonna back. It'll be fine.
I don't know. I was impressed. I like it. The first episode, the first 5 minutes are everything you want from Marvel. And so I was happy that, but of course it defies all laws of physics and
That bother you at all?
Not at all. No, I mean, come on. We're talking about a universe where people turn into big green men when they get angry.
I mean, they talked about the big three. The show, the big three: aliens,
androids, and
wizards, and sorcerers.
Oh my god, that was so great.
Magicians. He said magicians. Wizards. No, he said wizards.
Yeah, wizards.
Like, there's no such thing as wizards. He was like, okay, sorcerers.
Doctor Strange. He's like, that's a sorcerer. Well, sorcerers just wizards without a hat. And then the best part, Ty, he says, oh, so you were going to fight Gandalf? He said, what?
Yeah.
How you know about Gandalf?
Oh, he's so great. He said, I saw The Hobbit, 1937.
I read The Hobbit like when it first came out, like back when the World War I was still going on, man. And I don't know. Go ahead,
hey, Vince, I wanted to say this though about U.S. Agent. Did he seem like an asshole in some of the scenes? Yes, but there is a little bit more to unpack about him. Okay. There was a couple of things that was said.
Oh, okay.
He's got 4 what was it? 4
like medals of honor, medals of valor. They made a comment to him, and they said, "Yo, have you ever jumped on a grenade?" He said, yes.
"Yeah, 4 of them,
right, 4 times."
Yeah, he said it's a helmet trick.
The thing I do with my helmet.
Yeah, I jumped on 4 grenades to save other people's lives. So when you think about it from those terms, and the fact that he did have a very crisp background and career, right, and decorated with all of the stuff that he did, I don't think that he necessarily will be America's, the bad sides of America. I think he is actually trying to be the best he can be, but he's getting resistance.
Yep.
Like it's like when you're in a new position as a manager and you're trying to bring people on board, and then they're resistant, it causes friction.
Yep.
And that's what we're seeing. We're seeing friction. And the friction is because Bucky and Sam feel like you shouldn't have the shield right now. And he's just saying, look, I understand where y'all coming from, but I got the shield. So there's no point in us arguing over that little stuff. Let's get work done. And they're like, yo, nah, we do it our way. He's like, look, man, like I got the resources. I got everything y'all need. There's no more Tony Stark. Stop being stubborn and just come on. I think that's what we're seeing from him. So I want to give him a couple more episodes before I just villainize him and say he's going to be the worst version. Let's give him an opportunity, man. I think
it's not Tyrone. It's not about him being the worst version. It's just about him having that. You don't get the ickiness you get when you hear him say it's government property, and hello government. When you hear that sense of entitlement that you never heard from Steve Rogers, you're like, man, fuck this dude, man. You know what I'm saying? Who do you think you are? You know what I'm saying? And I think that is like just a little bit of a crumb that leads us down the path that lets us know that not only is he never going to be Steve Rogers or Steve Rogers-esque, but also there's a dark side of him that may be like, I figure he's like a diet Homelander. It feels like he thinks he's doing well, and he is saving people, but he's fucking up shit at the same time somehow. And I just don't know how he's fucking up shit yet. You know what I'm saying, Tyrone?
Yeah. Well, and I think a part of it is agenda. So because he is, literally an agent of the United States, he has an agenda that's not necessarily just about right or wrong. Exactly. Captain America was always what's right in this moment, not what's right for America. It's what's right. What's right for everybody. And whereas, U.S. Agent, when they were talking, they had that conversation. Falcon was like, "We're free agents. We get to do what's right, basically." and you got all these hoops to jump through, and you work for the United States government, and as Walker's response to that, U.S. agent's response to that was, "We'll stay out of our way," and which tells me that he's wanting to go on this mission for reasons we don't know yet,
right?
On behalf of the United States. So whereas they never had control of Captain America or Steve Rogers, and they were never going to control Falcon or the Winter Soldier for that matter. So I feel like this is them kind of taking up that mantle of Captain America and basically using it the way it was originally intended, with the old Steve Rogers version, which was like kind of propaganda. They weren't, originally when Captain America was first created, he wasn't meant to just be out there like fighting and stuff. It was more of a propaganda tool, and the way the MCU presented it, it was like, take a picture here, go do an event here. And then he was like, no, I want to be out there fighting. I want to be out there, trying to go and stop this evil from happening. So, I think we're seeing sort of the other side of that, to where now this guy, John Walker, he's like following orders. I'm, moving in the direction that the United States government is pointing me. And I think that's where the conflict is going to lead.
What is that, Adam? What are we showing?
That's the script I was telling you about.
Oh, it says heaven.
See how it says heaven on there? Like, I don't know.
Oh, hey, Hollywood. Guess who doesn't know how to keep secrets? Adam Murray.
He's like Tom Holland. He's like, look.
It's not on the air anymore. You can reveal stuff like that. But like,
thanks, yo. Appreciate that. Yo, real quick.
They give you like a little script. Like,
okay, like a little mock joint.
The day's shooting. It's like, it's got like, it's like a little tiny script on there.
Oh, it looks like a Sam's Club receipt. But yo, real quick, just to kind of touch up on what Tyrone was saying. The funny thing is, as we bring in our next guest, Captain America was built for propaganda, but wasn't traditionally, as he was the Brooklynite that he is.
Right.
Like in his soul, they used him as who he was for the propaganda. This is somebody who's using the propaganda for himself, it seems. It's almost like in reverse, right? Like, remember, in Civil War, in the actual Civil War, Captain America was a fugitive. Like, he was on the other side of the United States. He wasn't, which was, unanticipated, because you would expect for Captain America to be on the side of the government, and actually it was Tony Stark who was on the side of the government. So it's just interesting to see this whole juxtaposition. Yes, I said it. Look it up. Of how they choose to use these two characters and show the difference in what one can do with their quote unquote honor or their quote unquote weaponization of the United States military, which is what it feels like Captain America, current U.S. agent, is doing. He's already tracking Bucky and Sam without even letting them know. Right? Yes. What the fuck?
I thought that was super salty. I wanted to touch base. Did you guys notice that the redheaded girl was the girl that was from the Solo movies?
Infamous.
Oh, yeah. The girl from the Solo movies.
She was the rebel. She was the rebel leader in the Solo movies. You guys remember that, right? And now she's back, and she's more badass. All right. Yeah. She's like the leader. You know what I'm saying? Like, I just want to like touch base on that first. And like another thing too, with how US agent was, like, remember he originally, how he started the whole conversation with them was like, yo, you guys were getting your butt kicked before we showed up. You know what I'm saying? He's very, like you guys say, he's pompous, he's arrogant, he's very full of himself. You know what I'm saying? That those are things that Captain America, like Steve Rogers, was not. So that's, I think that's what's like really jarring at me, like, and is that he's too arrogant for me. He's like, he's like how Andrew Garfield was in Spider-Man. You know what I'm saying? And like everyone just like didn't like him because of that fact, and I feel like I'm having those feelings now with the US agent, because he's too much right now. He's overbearing. He's too condescending for me, I guess you can say, is the right word I'm looking for. You know what I'm saying? Because he wants to be right all the time. It's like, it's all about me, like my justification. So I don't know. I just feel like like, I don't know. We'll see where this guy leads, but I don't think he's going to last very long. That's all I got to say about that.
I just want to play devil's advocate real quick and just say that, that I think it's just a little dry. It's just, it could be just a little dry humor. Like, I think we want to villainize him so bad. Like, I mean, and it's like, I get what you guys are saying, but I don't think it's arrogance. I think it's confidence. If you jumped on a bomb 4 times, if you got 4 medals of honor, if you were captain like at a young age, it's at some point you know your skills. And I think he was just trying to be like funny. And I think a lot of times he's trying to be funny and it's just dry humor and it's not like connecting. You know what I'm saying? Like that is a tactic to loosen somebody up that you don't know, is to try to come at them with humor. I mean, hopefully it hits and sometimes it doesn't, but that's usually what you try to do with a stranger, I guess.
You're right, but I get what you're saying. But Kojo Prince just pointed a very valuable thing that I was literally just about to point out. He said, put some respect on my name and stop calling me Bucky, bitch. He does not know Bucky. Why is he on a first name basis with him?
He called him Buck.
Yeah,
he didn't even call him Bucky.
Like he's Steve. Yeah. Like he was like, I'm sorry, Buck. You know what I'm saying? Like he was like it was. I don't know. It's just I just feel like he's like that friend that you invite over for your like family dinner, and they already feel like they're part of the family already. You know what I'm saying? But they're not, and you're like, how do I politely tell this dude that, like, you know what I'm saying? He ain't gonna be around much longer because he's just a little too overbearing. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, there's a way to slide in and, like, you know, be kosher about it. He's just like, yo, I'm Cap, take it or leave it. Like, I don't really care what you guys think or not, you know. And I get that because, you know, he's got the background for it, but it's just like there's a manner to go about it. These dudes are way older than him, so you have to go on the level of respect first. That's how you have to approach it. He does not have respect. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's more of just like, I want to be your friend. If you don't want to be my friend, then fuck you. You know what I'm saying?
That part. And just for clarity, it was actually Falcon that called him Buck, and I don't understand why he's had such a bad reaction to it. It ain't like they didn't just fight the freaking Thanos and all of they, you know, like, it ain't like they didn't just fight side by side and all that, but it is what it is. I'm going to do the weirdest segue. I couldn't figure out a way to segue this without it being weird. So I'm just watch how I segue this, Tyrone, and just watch the brilliance of this segue. So we're sitting here talking about Captain America, right? Who obviously has a shield with a star on it. Stars, right? Star, like Star Trek.
This is a Jeff Goldblum segue.
So speak. Since you mentioned Star Trek, we just happen to have somebody on here who may or may not have been, who may or may not have a show coming up that has a Star Trek theme that I would like to make sure that we recall. I don't know what kind of Star Trek y'all was into, if y'all was into the OG Star Trek with the original Captain Kirk, or if y'all was more TNG like me, or if y'all are into the JJ universe. But this young lady right here actually is going to be doing a burlesque show in which she will be using Star Trek themes, some of which you may recognize, and I'm here for it, baby. And it is going to be next week, the 3rd through the 5th. Get your tickets now, motherfucker. And just to give you a little bit of background on the young lady, her name is Phoenix Midnight, and you can see her right here. You see in the background, doing a little thing, risque. She does some cosplay mashups with the burlesque roles, hallelujah. And so even with the Joker sometimes, you know what I'm saying? You gotta do a little thing with the Joker. This is not for kids. This is for adults. So watch out, y'all. If you ain't ready, it is coming your way. Anyway, I want y'all to help me welcome to the platform, Miss Phoenix McKnight. What's going on, mama?
Hey, how you doing?
She got the flags with her too, y'all. Look at that, bro. And she makes that herself. What's going on, y'all? So how's everything, Miss Phoenix?
Not much. I'm hoping my phone holds up better than my computer, because my computer was good, and then I was like, "Oh, you doing shit this morning?" Put the fuck off. I'm like, So
it's all good. I love the shirt, yo. So you're like a legit Star Trek fan. Like, that's your thing. You're a Trekker.
Yes.
Whoa. Close up. Yo, okay, wow,
That's
that's dedication, man. That's gonna be a hard one to cover up. Yes. So talk to me. So Phoenix, like, how did you become like what brought you to the Star Trek universe? I mean, I'm not gonna lie, like, it's very fascinating to me to see a cosplay themed burlesque show. Specifically, and even though there's no thirst, which means I can't go because you know what I'm saying, I'd have been thirsty as hell in that bit. But yeah, man, like what makes this like special to me is that it embodies two things I love: ass and Trek. So like, what's going on? Like, how do we come up with a show like this? What's going on?
So I got into Star Trek. It was actually an ex-boyfriend. God damn, you can see in my messy ass costume room, but that's okay. It's fine. I got into Star Trek after like me and an ex-boyfriend. He was trying to get me into it, and we broke up. And I was like, well, why did he like this show so much? So I started with Next Generation, and then it just took off from there. 4 years ago, a friend of mine had put together a Star Trek burlesque show up in Jacksonville, NV Inferno. And I have a Lieutenant Uhura act. I made one for that. But there was a second act I wanted to do, and I'm like, well, I gotta do this. I gotta do this because as far as I was aware, nobody else had a burlesque act of this character. Everybody does, you know, Kirk, Spock, Data. I think somebody did a Tribble burlesque act at one point. And I'm like, but nobody's ever done this character before. And after watching the series, Next Generation, DS9, Voyager, I watched Enterprise. That hurt my soul.
Yeah, Enterprise was tough.
I'm sorry. That intro was no good. And I don't have faith of the heart. I do not. I am perfectly okay to say that. And I'm like, no, I got to do this show. I have to do this show. This show has been in my mind for 4 years. It's got to happen.
Yo, well, I'm impressed. I mean, Talim has already bought 6 tickets, and he's not even going to be there. He just wants to support. He wants to see the B-roll of the behind the scenes looks. Anybody else on the panel, Trekkers? I don't know, Tyrone, Talim, Adam, Yas. Do any of y'all watch Star Trek? Did you watch Star Trek? Do you have a favorite Star Trek? Talk to me, Tyrone.
I do just want to say before you have a bunch of angry nerds coming at you real hard, it's Trekkies.
No, it's Trekkers.
It's both. It can be both. Nichelle Nichols said Trekkers in an interview a few years ago.
Fight.
All right, let's do this. I'll be right there. Hold on. Well, that's the never-ending debate. Like Trekkers, Trekkies. At first, I remember we would call each other Trekkies, and then somebody was like, "Well, Trekkies is a little juvenile, so Trekker," and it's just real stupid. I don't know.
I'll yield and accept both as an answer. And nerds, if you're gonna come at somebody, don't come at me. Okay.
Go at him. All right. Don't go to the ball guy. I'm going through it enough as it is. But did you watch Star Trek, Tyrone?
I grew up on TNG, but I also did watch some of the old, Kirk stuff, and back in the day I used to watch Voyager and Deep Space Nine and stuff. So yeah, there's some Trekker in me. Yeah.
Adam, any Star Trek there, bro?
Dude, I used to watch the movies. I wasn't big into the TV shows so much, other than I forget the dude's name, the Reading Rainbow guy.
Oh, Geordie LaForge.
I used to watch for him when I was a kid. But when I drove a cab, I actually used to have a regular dude that I would take to the airport all the time. That he used to, I forget what he called him. He built some sort of like Star Trek set somewhere, and he was telling me like about the stuff that would get stolen all the time. Like apparently there was some famous inside job where they stole some massive chair that I guess Captain Kirk would sit on, but it was like he explained that it was like there were hidden bolts like in the floor that you had to know how to get to it. Like apparently this chair is worth like, somewhere in like the 60 to 100 grand area, but like someone fucking stole it from whatever the fuck it was he was building. But like apparently Star Trek fans like that are fucking rabid.
Yeah. Bro, you're dealing with listen, this is a fan base that literally learned its own language. You know what I'm saying? Like Klingon, like you got motherfuckers walking around like you know what I'm saying? Like, and you can understand it. Like, well, I'm fluent in Klingon. Like, I put it on my special skills.
It's on Duo. It's actually a language on Duo that you can learn now.
No! The Duolingo is teaching Klingon, yo. Shut the fuck up.
The Green Owl is teaching Klingon.
Yo, all right, sign me up right now.
If you don't do your lesson, he shows up to your house with a batlet and challenges you to honorable combat.
Oh, you hear that, Talim?
I got something to make that sound. Come to my house. I got something to make that sound.
Coming to your house. Listen, did any of y'all watch the latest Star Trek? All right. Let me just give you my rundown. All right. I'm loving Discovery. All right. Well, I was up until this last season. I ain't gonna lie. This last season was some bullshit. But the first two seasons, Tylene, you could probably agree with me, of Star Trek Discovery were fuego. I'm loving the Star Trek J.J. Abrams reboot for the movies with Chris Pine as the lead and Zachary Quinto and Zoe Saldana as Uhura. Even though they did kind of flip all the races. You know, at first Uhura was black, now she's Dominican. You know,
and we haven't got one lately. It's been a while since that last one, so I don't know.
Yeah, well, I mean, that last one, I don't know if it was really as good as it should have been. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I like Idris Elba, but that storyline was a little weird. But ultimately, you have to see, if you're a true Star Trek fan, please check out Discovery. It's worth the $5.99 a month, at least the free trial that you get when you do have the first 7 days, I think, when you do Paramount Plus, which originally was CBS. Frankly, it's worth it to see Michael Burnham come into her own as I'm not going to spoil it, but let's just say as one of the members of the bridge on Discovery. I mean, they really went through the whole history. They talked about Captain Pike. They had Spock. They had the original Klingons. They even introduced a new superhero type character called the Red Angel, which you'll see about if you watch it. But I feel like I'm the only one that watched it here, so I'm going to shut up because
no. So I watched all of season 1, and then life happened for me. Yeah. So I have not caught up on season 2 or 3 just yet, but I love how they were integrating aspects of Discovery's crew with things that were going to happen later on that you see in the original series, that you even see up until Next Generation. It's a great show. It's an absolutely beautiful show. I will say, the Klingon designs, I wish that they would kind of start making up their minds on that.
Yeah.
That's the only thing. That's the only thing.
So what you're saying is you don't like this new version of Klingon in Discovery where they don't have butts on their heads and they just have the different types of, and they even have racial Klingons, like they're black and white Klingons.
Yeah. So if you watch Enterprise is really only good for 2 things. It tells you what the M and M-class planet means, and it also tries to give a background story as to why Klingons lost their ridges that you see in the original series and then gained them back.
Wow, yeah, that's right.
There's an episode in DS9, I think that's Trials and Tribulations. Yes, I am that level of nerd. I am so.
Wow.
I'm not sorry. I'm not sorry. Where the crew gets sent back to Kirk's time, and of course they're trying not to mess up the temporal directive. But at one point, Worf, who is there, who has ridges and has to hide them, is sitting in the cafeteria where the original series Klingons are, and his crewmates from his time are like, "Wait, those are Klingons? What's up with them?" And Worf just says, "We don't speak of it." And then finally they finally answered that question in the Enterprise series.
Oh, whoa. So basically, it's almost like there's an evolution as it pertains to Klingons, right? Like it's like just like people evolve, Klingons evolve. So
Not
I mean, I
quite,
guess that's
not quite an evolution. Like I'm debating whether to spoil it or not because again, Enterprise, you have to trudge through it. Thank God it was only 4 seasons. But no, it was bad. It was bad. It's like post 9/11 bullshit mixed in with it. There wasn't really a lot that the show really gave us. But no, I know. I think if I have to suffer through it, everybody else got to suffer through it. Watch it and find out.
Nah, I'm sorry, bro. I'm sorry. I couldn't watch Enterprise. It's something that does not appeal to me about going backwards when it comes to the Starship Enterprise. I don't really want to. Now, I do think that it's interesting if you watch Discovery, which me and Ty watched. They do actually go onto the Enterprise, and they elaborate on how the Enterprise, despite the fact that they have holographic tech, still decide to use what they call old school screen tech, which is why you see Kirk always talking to the screen instead of talking to the holograms that you see in the other ships. But I also like the fact that there's so many Star Treks. Oh, am I lagging? Yes, it looks like I'm lagging. All right, whatever. It's so many Star Treks that you can literally pick and choose which is your favorite. Does anybody on here have a problem with the J.J. Abrams reboot? I loved it, especially the first 2. I guess we love it too.
No problem.
My only problem with the J.J. Abrams reboot, the first movie was good. The second movie, and look, I'm okay with, Bandicoot, Cucumber Watch or whatever, but I think they could have chosen somebody more appropriate for Khan. Khan's character is from Asia, the Nepal, India area. And yes, Ricardo Montalban is not any of those, but they still could have found somebody a lot more appropriate for that.
Wasn't Khan Benedictine Cumberbatch?
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah. So Doctor Strange was also Wrath of Khan, and I thought that he killed. I mean, I ain't gonna lie. Like, I agree with you.
But no, his acting was good. I ain't saying that, but
yeah, he was strong as fuck. All right, he kicked hella ass. All right, he somehow maintained. I don't know, Benedict. He can do any accent. You know what I'm saying? Like I don't even know what the hell he's supposed to be. And I always wonder. See, one thing about Star Trek that is it lets you know that it's fantasy. Unlike this show Expanse that the 2 Ties and I watch, is they don't operate in a scientific physical reality. All right. I mean, they try to explain it as best they can. We have universal translators, so we all understand what's going on. Yes, we have gravity modifiers, but they really don't talk about how every planet has the same gravity, how every planet has atmosphere, every planet has sunlight. You know what I'm saying? Like, and even like on the ship, like what they did do in Discovery is they did go into like how there is an anti-gravity, because at some point in time, when you get blown up on the ship, they actually have that shield that goes around the ship to allow it to maintain the oxygen levels, such as when
the force shields go up. Yep.
Right. So I'm liking that, but I also don't mind the fact, because one of the things that I think that got lost in the Star Trek Next Generation phase, guys, is Captain Picard and Commander Riker stopped leaving the ship as much, right? Like it was a lot of on-ship drama with Deanna Troi and Crusher, and you know what I'm saying? It was like, all right, man, we get it. It was like the days of our Star Trek at some point in time. It just started to get a little, so I like Discovery is like a good mix of both. Deep Space Nine was dope. I like Voyager. I like the introduction of the Jem'Hadar Dar, who is one of the few that can actually like collapse the Borg. I didn't mind Enterprise, but I couldn't,
Nobody's blaming you. Nobody's blaming you for not doing Enterprise. Nobody's blaming you for that.
So
but
wait,
other
Kyle,
than that, go ahead.
Kyle Mason has a good. Can you bring the comment on? He's got a good comment. He asked, actually, where do you even begin? Where do you even start? You know, if you're trying to get into Star Trek.
Oh my God!
You guys are on a level of, you know, like ridiculousness. Like, where do you start?
That's a great question.
I personally would start at Next Generation because the original series, it's cute, it's campy,
right?
But it really doesn't touch into current events like the original series could. Like, there are still some episodes that are very relevant from Next Generation, which was, you know, 25, 30 years ago, that are still relevant today. Whether it's about race, whether it's about genocide, there's one that tries to touch on trans rights.
Oh, yes, you're right. You're right. Yeah.
That's so true. I think it's a good place to start a Next Generation, move forward, and then backtrack to the original series. So you can see, okay, this was in the 60s. This is what was going on at the time. So of course it's not going to be perfect. And of course there are, you know, other Star Trek episodes that are not perfect. Code of Honor. We don't talk about that one. But you kind of see where the appeal came for having a show like that at that time, and the diversity that came along with it. Having a Russian officer, having an Asian officer, and of course having a Black officer in the form of Nichelle Nichols.
Can I tap in on that? I know you the pro, Phoenix, but I got to disagree there. I grew up on Star Trek, so I grew up on the William Shatner and the Leonard Nimoy, and you know, and the originals, you know, the original Uhura and all of that. Like those, if you grew up and you had a chance to watch them, first of all, yeah, it was a little, like you said, campy as far as the special effects and everything like that, but the acting was great, and it meant a lot for the timing, because remember, Uhura was Black.
Yeah,
right.
She was a intricate part of the show. It wasn't like she was just on there just to be on there. She was very much involved in the show. Yeah, and you know what I'm saying. So like, just whenever you're trying to watch something, you want to see it from the roots, because you want to see the development of the show, the development of the characters, the development of you know, Star Trek, being a Star Trek fan. And I don't think you can really appreciate Star Trek without like really giving William Shatner and Leonard Nimoy their due, because without them, there would be no Next Generation, there would be no Deep Space Nine, there would be no Picard, there would be none of that, because these dudes actually set the table, set the standard.
Now, I mean, I see where you're coming from, so I can't fully disagree with what you're saying. And for those who don't know just how powerful it was to have such a diverse crew, Nichelle Nichols, after the first season, she was gonna quit. She was like, I wanna do theater. I don't, you know, this was fun, but I'm good. She later on ended up attending a NAACP meeting, and somebody told her, hey, there's a Trekker fan who wants to meet you. And that Trekker fan actually ended up being Martin Luther King Jr.
Oh, shit.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Let me spell it out. So he goes to her and says, hey, we love your show. This is the only show that we let our kids watch. And she says, thank you. I appreciate it. By the way, I'm going to try to quit the show. And he goes to her, why? No, you can't do that. You don't understand. You don't have a Black role. You're not a mammy. You're not a nanny. You're not a maid. You have an equal role.
Yes.
And that hit her hard, to the point where that following week she went to Gene Roddenberry and said, I'm staying on.
Wow. Hold up. I did not know any of this.
Yep. Yep.
I literally learned. Tyrone, guess what you missed? It turns out, yeah, Tyrone, let me put you back on your side so you can be your twin. It turns out that Martin Luther King saved Star Trek. In addition to black people.
Damn, that's a galactic reach he had. That is impressive,
bruh. I mean, listen, I ain't gonna lie. Like, I disagree with both of y'all. I don't think that you should start with the next generation, nor do I think you should start with the first one. I think you should start with the Strip Trek show starring This is a great introduction to Star Trek. Hallelujah. But in all honesty, just playing around. But I mean, I'm not. You should definitely do that. But you should definitely start where you feel most comfortable. I'm not going to come in here and tell you that you can't watch Spider-Man Far From Home unless you've seen Tobey Maguire's version of Spider-Man, or unless you've seen the cartoon Ultimate Spider-Man. You can't do that. I don't think that's how it works. I don't think you have to start everything from the get. Not everybody read the J.R.R. Tolkien books for Lord of the Rings or The Hobbit, but they still enjoyed those 3-hour series. And Lord of the Rings actually was a sequel. You know what I'm saying? So I don't think that's one has to start at the basis, Tylene. And I think you tripping on that. Just because you grew up like that don't mean everybody got to grow up like that, man. So I honestly think, my opinion, and this is just my humble opinion, in addition to the Strip Trek, who was that made that comment? Let's talk. It's Kyle. So Kyle, you're really asking like where you should start. My honest, humble opinion, if you want to get the most out of your bang for your buck for Star Trek, I think you should start with the J.J. Abrams reboot, bro. Why is that? Because you'll get the gist of the whole entire universe in a 2-hour series, in a 2-hour movie, as opposed to having to watch, because the Star Trek seasons aren't like 6 to 8 episode seasons. We're talking like 24 episode seasons. All right. And little people, everybody doesn't know that the first Star Trek, the OG Star Trek with James Tiberius Kirk, actually was only 2 seasons. It just was like 26. Three seasons. Okay, well, damn. But have you ever felt so out geeked before? Talk about fact checking, like live on the spot. But she's right. 3 seasons. I know it was something like that, But it was like only a couple seasons.
And then they did, and then how many movies did they do, Phoenix?
They did 5, right?
They did. Are you talking about the J.J. Abrams or the original?
I'm just talking about the William Shatner and Leonard Nimoy hookup.
For the William Shatner and Leonard Nimoy, they did 5, and then the Next Generation they did 4. I might have that reversed.
Oh no, because it was Star Trek: The Motion Picture, then Star Trek: The Wrath of Khan, Star Trek: The Search for Spock, Star Trek: The Return, Star Trek: The Voyage Home, then Star Trek: Undiscovered Country. All right, and then that ended that, and then it was First Contact, Generations, Insurrection,
and Nemesis.
Yep.
Which I'm gonna say I like. Nemesis got a lot of shit, and maybe that's just because I like Tom Hardy. White boy with actual lips. It's nice. Why do you think that? Why do you think Hollywood keep trying to like hide his face? They know.
Yo, the Capone one was like the craziest. Oh my god.
Yeah, man, that's cool as hell. So
what's the one with the whales?
That was the Voyage Home.
We're going,
4, which I think was the worst one, frankly. Like, why go home? Like, what do we want to? It's called Star Trek, not Earth Trek. You know what I'm saying? Like, nobody cares about the way. I mean, before PETA comes at me, we all want the whales to succeed and to do the best they can in life. But at the end of the day, man, we watch Star Trek to see what we can't see, which is people on other worlds. We want to see Kirk fucking somebody green, which he always manages to do. So I think it's funny that Kirk and ends up on Star Trek. Chris Pine ends up on Star Trek with JJ, which actually stars Zoe Saldana, who is actually green in the Marvel universe.
Oh yeah, I just realized. God damn it.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
She's blue. She's brown.
Yeah, she's everything, yo. It's crazy. I just love the fact that there's so many different and give it up for John Cho as well for taking over the role of Captain Sulu. There's so many different layers to this Star Trek universe. And just like I said, to kind of cap that off, I would definitely recommend Kyle starting with the Star Trek reboot, by J.J. Abrams. It'll introduce you to all of the characters, and then it'll make sense when you go back and watch them again. But there is, frankly, in terms of the episodes, no substitute for the Next Generation, which I think was darn near. It has to be like one of the best, with the exception of when it gets a little too soap opera-y. There are some very, very monumental characters that were developed in that series. The Borg being the main one, shall I say?
I would say Picard. I would say that Picard, the first season of Picard.
You're right.
Actually, if you ask me, the first season of Picard right now, hands down, is the best series that Star Trek has put out. Hands down.
Whoa.
Hands down.
Whoa.
Yes. Hands down. Absolutely.
Over Discovery?
The first season?
Yeah.
Of Picard. Was what the best. The fact that they left the door open for so much stuff to happen, the fact that we saw all of the characters reemerge with actual, plausibility. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's true. Come on, man. We got a Riker. We got Riker. We got Troy. We got Picard, and then we got
Data.
Riker's
Troy.
White.
Deanna Troy.
Deanna Troy still looking good.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Deanna Troy.
Man. And then you got new characters. But the reason I say it's the dopest is because the CGI and the special effects that they're doing with these cyborg, the girl. And then old boy who's like the protector.
Yeah, man. You're like, yes, this is the dopest, man. We didn't talk about the Spore Drive. All right, the Spore Drive.
Exactly.
From Discovery.
But that's in Discovery. So for those of y'all who don't know, and hopefully we're not losing you, Adam. I can see the interest dissolving.
No.
It got nothing to do with me. You know what I'm saying? No, I'm just sorry, man. I just messing with you. But so for those of y'all who don't know, obviously, if you watch Star Trek, then you know that you can't get from one star to another without jumping light speed, which is oddly enough something that Elon Musk is literally discussing. They are actually talking about warp drives in real life right now, which in the Expanse, I think is a more realistic depiction of what it would be like to go through warp drive. Because I often thought it was very interesting how on the Enterprises there were no seatbelts. Just go the speed of light. And we're just like,
I'm surprised you guys.
There was a Bernie Sanders meme where he's, in the chair and he's just like, I'm asking again why we don't have seatbelts. But no, they did introduce them very briefly in one of the J.J. Abrams movies for like a split second. I'm like, oh, so you do have them. Why do the rest of the Enterprises not have? Why do not the rest of the ships have this? Okay.
Yeah. Adam, what were you saying, bro?
I'm surprised we've talked about Star Trek this much and no one's brought up Whoopi Goldberg.
Oh, wow. Yeah, you're right.
Shit.
Whoopi was definitely, she
was huge in it for a long time.
Yeah, she was Guinan. She was thousands of years old. I think there was a little...
big old hats.
The hat. Oh, yeah,
I love them. But like with Whoopi, she was very inspired by Star Trek in the sense that when she first saw Nichelle Nichols on TV, the quote was that she turned to her mom and said, "Look, Ma, there's a black woman on TV and she ain't no maid."
Wow.
She won later on. She was a big, hey, I want to be part of Star Trek. And the producers were thinking, well, how the fuck do we put Whoopi, this big actress into this show? And she said that, she'd be happy with any role, which is how she got the role of Guinan.
Guinan, yeah.
And then if you go back to Generations, it explains, the movie Star Trek Generations, it explains how she got on the ship and a little bit more about her people and her race. And it's just beautiful. There's also another Black woman who benefited very well from the show, Dr. Mae Jemison, the astronaut.
Yeah, the first Black astronaut, first Black woman astronaut, excuse me.
Nichelle Nichols was part of the recruitment with NASA teamed up with her to recruit Black astronauts and other astronauts of color And Mae Jemison actually has a very small role as a transporter engineer in the Next Generation. So,
look at the. What'd you say, Adam?
How many seasons was Whoopi on?
Oh, she was on a lot.
She came on, I think, second or third season of Next Generation, and then she had what was the movie?
Yeah, she was in the movie. But the funny thing about it is that her superpower was that she was an old ass lady. She just lived for thousands of years. But there was one episode where I think she confronted Q.
And Q was scared of her. He actually looked worried. Like she put her hands up, and he was like, "Whoa!" With her hands.
I was always wondering what the hell was Whoopi gonna do. I don't think Whoopi's gonna be like, what you ain't gonna do is come on.
She was just gonna take that hat and be like, yeah. I wish you would. No, that excited me. So when I heard about Picard season 2 coming up, and Sir Patrick Stewart actually came up onto The View to personally extend the invitation to Whoopi Goldberg, which I loved. I did not love that one white woman ended up touching her hair, saying, "Oh, what you gonna do about her hair?" I'm like, "Leave her hair alone."
Oh my god!
She touched her hair, and I was ready to like throw my shit at the screen. And Sir Patrick Stewart said she can do whatever she wants with her hair. I'm like, "That's right, Picard. That's right."
Why would you ask her something like that? Oh my god, it's so dumb. But I can say this. Let me say this real quick. Here's one thing that I'm loving about. All right, as we sit and discuss Discovery, I love the fact that Star Trek, from its origin, was always about diversity, always 100%. And if you look back at the cast, at the very first episodes, it was somebody from every ethnicity. Literally, they had an Asian member. They had a Russian. Now, at the time, when there was this whole Russian Cold War thing going on, they had little Chekhov up there. They had Scotty in engineering. I don't know, Captain. She can't go over so far. Power. Yes, Captain, I'm an engineer. They had Dr. McCoy, who's just your ordinary Texan, Alabamian, whatever he was. It's, God damn it, Jim. I'm a doctor, not a scientist. You know what I'm saying? Like it was always about diversity. The women, there were women on the crew. Like keep in mind, this came out in the 60s, right? So the 60s is the height of the civil rights movement. And here they are. Gene Roddenberry is like, fuck that. I want a black girl, with her legs showing on the bridge, communicating. She is our first mode of transportation. She is our first line of defense. Hey, hold on, Captain. We're being held by a ship. Like we had a literal it looked like the cover of a community college textbook on the bridge. And that's how it's supposed to look. You know what I'm saying? Fast forward to Discovery and Picard. Same thing right now. We got Michael Burnham is now has a very significant role in Star Trek. And Michael Burnham was part. I will spoil it.
No, because I will come through the screen for you.
Okay, all right. I won't say. All right, well, let's just say this: Michael Burnham, and now she has a mate as well. People of color are driving this season. This series. So I think that's phenomenal, and I also love how in Picard they still tease, they still kind of go at the nostalgia that a lot of us have from those good old Star Trek Next Generation years when the episodes were so dope. Now, Tyrone, it sounded like you were more of a TNG person, but did you stay with TNG and not go anywhere after that, or was that just all it was that you watched?
Oh no, I jumped into Deep Space Nine and Voyager, and I watched the movies and stuff. I did like the J.J. Abrams reboots. I enjoyed those. Yeah, I enjoy Star Trek. I wouldn't call myself a Trekkie or a Trekker. I just out of respect for that fandom. I'm not at that level. I'm more of a wars person. But yeah, no. Star Trek is definitely a big part of my childhood. It was kind of how my dad and my brother and I would kind of we would all just kind of bond watching the Next Generation and doing that whole thing. I remember in elementary school. I went to elementary school in California, and there's always like kids of, you know, people who work in the industry and stuff like that. And we had a show and tell one day, and they brought in Geordie LaForge's visor. They brought him out from the set. And we got to like look through it and stuff like that, which was that's a big moment for my childhood. I was like, oh man, this is awesome. So yeah, you know, it's there, it's in there.
Now, did we ever? Well, speaking of Geordie LaForge's visor, you can see the visor live next week in Strip Trek as we see a young man bouncing.
Yes, that is Trey DeMarc from Minneapolis. I kind of my big thing, like we were talking about, is that Star Trek School of Diversity. So I wanted to have as much of a diverse cast of race, genders, sexuality, and so forth. So yes, April 2nd, next Friday, is when the show airs. You buy your tickets. The link stays up until April 5th. We've got people for, like I said, Trey DeMarc portraying Geordie is from Minneapolis, Minnesota. We've got Vita DeBoyd hosting, who is over in LA. Masterclass, who is our Jean-Luc Picard, is from Tennessee. And I don't want to spoil the whole cast, but like I said, this show is my baby. I've been wanting to do this show for 4 years, so I tried to get the best cast that I could. We also, I will say this for one of our other cast members, we have Dax exclamation point from RuPaul's Drag Race on this show.
Oh shoot!
So please buy tickets because I gotta pay the bitch.
All right, well, we'll definitely be contributing to that. I do have a couple questions, real quick, about Star Trek itself. But 2nd and 9 is
7 and 9.
7 of 9. Excuse me, 7 of 9 is all right for the woke universe. I'm gonna go off script, and I'm gonna say something flattering about a young lady. So please don't beat me up in the DMs. All right, but 2nd of 9 is fine as hell. I don't know if it's okay to say that. 2nd of 9 is, I mean, she's, you know, in terms of rating, I would say it's Uhura, Zoe, both Uhuras, and then probably 2nd of 9. Maybe throw Tasha, maybe throw Deanna in there if you have to. But 2nd of 9 is, and she's in Picard. Yes. And she looks the same exact way she did in Voyager, in Voyager, because she was in Voyager, right?
Yeah, she was in Voyager. And for me personally, I'm glad to see her finally in something comfortable.
Yeah.
Because when she was in Voyager, she was wearing that skin tight cat suit. Fuck you, Rick Berman. And the corset underneath and these high heels. I'm like, none of this is logical. We know why you brought Jerry Ryan, who plays 7 of 9 on there. It was to the point where at one point she passed out because the corset was tight. Did oxygen. So I'm so happy to have her back in Picard and in something where it looks like she can actually fucking breathe.
Yeah, I'm loving it, man. And thanks so much for the background info. I mean, if you ever want to test somebody's nerd or blerd culture or like their actual blerd cred, I think you passed every test. You know, like she's like in the book of the TNG, in episode Code of War. What's up, Adam?
I got a question because we touched on the visor for a second.
Yes,
I've always wondered, could he see through that thing or was he blind? Like
he was blind. Blind since birth, and the visor is connected into his brain, and through he can see like different wavelengths and different patterns.
I mean the actual actor, like he's wearing.
Oh no! Could
he see?
Yeah, you can see right through it. It's
so-called Reading Rainbow.
Wait a minute.
Yeah.
Wait a minute. You think the guy who hosted Reading Rainbow was blind?
I know the actual actor's not blind. I'm saying wearing that visor. Could he
see? That's a good question.
Oh,
yeah. It's like looking through a, you know, remember like in like old Mustangs and Camaros, like the backs would have kind of like that like slotted thing going down. Yeah, it looks like that from the inside.
Okay. So he had very minimal vision, but he had some vision.
Right, there was some obstruction there. I'm sure he probably he probably hit a few knees on some tables and stuff like that. Maybe stubbed a toe or two, but you can see through it though.
Yeah, his peripheral vision was blocked completely.
Yeah,
fancy glasses.
I forget which Ty was talking about how Picard was like what was it? Which Ty was it?
I can't wait to see this because I saw your face and I was like, I can't wait to see where this goes.
The only reason I was not I would say DS9, Picard season 1, and Next Generation. The only reason I would say Picard is second is because of what they did to Hugh.
What?
Oh yeah, they killed.
Oh yeah. Spoiler alert. Shields up.
I mean, listen, if it's a spoiler alert by now, then goodness.
I think I deleted my.
That was my only thing. I was so happy to see Hugh because the episode Hugh where he first shows up was it made me cry. It actually legitimately made me cry. And then the episodes that he shows up afterwards when things are going on between Data and his brother Lore, I was like, oh shit, Hugh's in Picard. This is great. This is awesome. This is why did you do that? I was so mad. Benno can tell you, Vince. Benno can tell you. I was mad, jumping up and down and throwing things.
Oh,
and
man.
I was 3 months pregnant at the time, so I was furious. I was furious.
Oh man, we'll just name the baby Hugh.
For anybody who hasn't seen Picard, imagine the Matrix Neo as an android with the abilities like to do because that's what old girl is. Yeah, like she literally can do anything.
Yeah.
So, and then that protector dude that is like Picard's son. I don't know his name, but he's like Picard's, fake son, but he's bad. He's nothing to play with. And those fight scenes was crazy. So that's why I said Picard, man, for me. That first season, minus the Hugh killing, that first season is crazy. Yeah. And I love Discovery. Don't get me wrong, but that Picard first season was crazy.
The only reason I'm putting Picard back a little bit is because Picard himself is like a shadow of his former self, and he's not on the Enterprise. He doesn't have the same crew. He still
needed a visitor badge to visit Starfleet headquarters. It's like, don't you know who I am?
But he still got that Picard swagger. Don't know, dude. Listen. I'm a fanboy when it comes to Jean-Luc. Jean-Luc could put a Kango on and throw a little scarf on and come through. He got that swag, bro. His swag is like no other. And William Shatner had his swag. William would talk you out your britches. He had the smooth look. William just walk in a room and the girls flocking. He'd be over there just chilling, and you got McCoy over here talking shit, and Spock over here analyzing the whole surroundings. I'll be back here while y'all handling that. That's William. That was William Shatner. You always find him laid up somewhere.
I will say one of the most underrated captains who never seems to get his due is Benjamin Sisko.
Yeah,
Benjamin Sisko.
First of all, he punched Q. He punched an omnipotent being like it was nothing. And when she was like, Picard never hit me. I'm not Picard. And then he was like, I'm Picard with this dude no more.
Yes.
And Avery Brooks, the way that he portrayed Benjamin Sisko, I thought it was absolutely beautiful. You see one of the most loving fathers because he has to take on the role of father and mother after his wife is killed.
Yeah.
So we see all that. So he's trying to be father. He's trying to be, commander, soon to be captain. And then, oh, by the way, you're kind of like the messiah for this people. So to see him go through the war with the Dominion, he really doesn't get it. He doesn't really get enough credit. And two series of episodes really hit with me. The first is Past Tense, which happens when the Bell riots occur in 2024.
She got this
stuff.
Wow.
Holy shit.
Wow.
And the thing with what happens with the Bell riots is that poor people have basically just been crammed into these slums. They don't have jobs. They don't have health care. They don't have a lot of like the things that are going on now in 2021. I'm like, Gene Roddenberry being a little bit too prophetic right now. I'm not sure how I feel about this. And how his character and Dr. Bashir's, both people of color, have been thrown into this situation versus Jadzia Dax, who presents as a white woman, and how their experiences were different. That episode hit me hard. The other episode that hit me was I can't remember the name, but he's basically having visions of him being a writer in the 1950s.
Yeah, on the holodeck, maybe.
No. That one wasn't a holodeck episode. That was, some sort of like electrical discharge sent his brain off, random brain waves, and he's thinking that he's this writer. You see all the normals out of costume, out of prosthetics, and how that episode was a very big tell when it came to racism. In the 1950s, but honestly, let's face it hasn't really changed in the past 60, 70 years. It's just found different ways.
Fair to say, man, that Star Trek was incredibly prophetic, to use those words. I would dare say not only was it prophetic, but it was instrumental in being a self-fulfilling prophecy by putting in place what the future should look like. We adapted to it, right? Like they're even talking about these next space shuttles, the ones that may go to Mars. They're talking about calling them the Enterprise. And if you recall, Star Wars, when it was a movie, there was a whole like galactic, military program called Star Wars. So sometimes these science fiction shows actually become adopted as reality, which is very encouraging because I can't wait till I can just order an ounce of weed through the generator. You know what I'm saying? I just want to be like, computer, give me a bounce of that Swedish Chiva. You know what I'm saying?
Well, I mean, your cell phone, your iPad, or your tablet, a lot of the technology that we are using regularly today is based off of Star Trek.
Literally.
We're already there. We're already there.
Flip phone.
Yep. Remember the flip phones? Yeah. Like literally the flip phones were literally on like even right now, like in Discovery, they're still using flip phones in Discovery, even though like Discovery actually, oh man, I didn't mean to do so much on Star Trek, but Phoenix is so well versed. But in Discovery, I was just talking about the warp drive. In Discovery, they use this thing called a spore drive, which is like it makes the Enterprise, instead of it just being really fast, it basically has a teleportation device. You know what I'm saying? And it can go anywhere in the universe as long as it can be mapped. As long as it's somewhere that's been mapped before. It's basically like as long as it's on your GPS, you can just go there real quick. Of course, there's this whole technology that's embedded in a human being, and it's
listen, Vinny, you said as long as it's on your GPS, but that's wrong. Remember that the thing that the spore drive is hooked up to, it already has mapped the universe. Because remember that entity or whatever that thing was collected data. It's been collecting data, and so it already knows where everything is.
Yeah, I forgot.
All he has to do was just think it.
But that was, I mean, that it kind of goes along with my point, because that thing that I can't remember the name, which Phoenix, you have to watch Discovery, because I need you to memorize these facts, because me and Ty can't remember. But that thing that is hooked up to that being is now the GPS. You see what I'm saying? Like, so in actuality, it still holds true. But I feel what you're saying, though. I feel what you're saying. But that's the universe that we can adapt to. That's one that we actually can say has really had an impact on us. Now, I don't know if that is the same for this DC universe, that we're living in now. Segue, hallelujah. In that they are now merging this universe with, updating this universe since there was hey, Phoenix. All right.
You said DC. She was like, nope. Beam me up. I'm out of this piece.
This ain't got shit to do with Star Trek.
Yep.
No. But yeah, in the DC universe, obviously there have been some rumblings about the Snyderverse, as Zack Snyder has basically generated all of the buzz. But before we get into the Snyderverse, something actually dropped this week that I thought was pretty cool that I was hoping we could discuss. And that is the actual trailer for, God damn it. Shit, I thought I uploaded it, but I guess I didn't. The trailer for Suicide Squad. All right. The Suicide Squad's trailer actually came out and it looks pretty damn good. We get to see your boy Idris Elba playing in the role formerly designed for Will Smith. And I have to say, it looks like it is going to be fairly decent. Now, I'm not a real big John Cena fan, but he looks like he found a role that fits him. And, I don't know. I get good vibes off of this. We get to see King Shark on the big screen, which I think is pretty cool. I do think that I'm having a little bit of Harley fatigue here, guys. So I don't know if it's just me. But Yas, have you seen the Suicide Squad? I think you posted it actually, Yas.
I did post it. So yes, I did see it.
What you think about it? You think it looks good? What you think?
I actually thought it looked really good. I see a lot of characters that are a lot of actors that I've seen, in other movies that I did find quite funny. They just showed him. I can't remember his name, but he's in this movie called like Adulting or something like that. Like I don't remember the exact movie. Yeah, it's oh my god, that dude's funny as hell. Like their outfits, I can't wait. John Cena, like I agree with you. I'm not a big John Cena fan, but like his scene and like the trailer, I was dying laughing. I was like, oh shit, John Cena and his bullshit's coming back like this. I was like, I'm kind of excited for it. You know what I'm saying? Because like with taking Will Smith out of it, it doesn't leave his character for those those fun quirky puns that we were looking for in the last movie. So I'm excited to see where it's gonna go. I don't have any shade as of right now, but it can always come. It's DC, so we'll see.
Tyleen, Bad Ty, what are your thoughts about the Suicide Squad trailer, homeboy?
I'm not impressed. I mean, when it comes down to it, you know how I feel about DC. I feel like it's gonna be. I feel like they're gonna find a way to They already found a way to sabotage it, if you ask me, because I personally don't want to see a comedic Suicide Squad. I wanted to see a real, I really wanted to see them show off the fact that you have, murderers and killers, and what I'm saying. Come on, man, use them. What's the point of having a bad guy movie if they're gonna be good?
But you're defeating the premise. Is that they can't just go out and be evil because they have chips in their necks that'll explode. That's why
not evil. What I'm saying is you're employing criminals, murderers to do the stuff that the good guys aren't going to do. Right. So you send them in to do the dirty work. So they should be able to go in there and really do what they do. I want to see King Shark eating people really biting people's heads off. What I'm saying?
You mean like this
stuff? I don't want to
say that you missed the trailer.
There we go.
I was gonna say he was eating. Yeah.
Oh well, I missed that part. But it's still comedic though, man. I would have rather seen a more serious Suicide Squad. I mean, y'all could tear me up, rip me another one, but it's all good. That's the real for me. I'm not really for it.
Well, I mean, did you like the first one?
I did like the first one a little better. I'm saying a little better. But I did like it. I did like it.
Like, damn, you got an advanced copy?
Right.
No. I did like it. I just feel like this is like the retirement home version of the Suicide Squad. You got Idris Elba with a full beard of gray. He couldn't put no type of Beijing on none of that.
Yo,
you know what I'm saying? You got old John Cena who retired from wrestling. You know what I'm saying? Like this is not. He's not like The Rock. Like he doesn't have the same fanfare that The Rock has.
Nah,
and
of course not.
Like this is just no. I can't.
But Pete Davidson is like the representative of all things young, I guess, in this generation.
God,
so just by putting him in a movie, he's supposed to be like, the young guy, basically, and everything. So is that not appealing to you, sir? And your youth?
Yeah, I feel like he's going to be nominated for an Oscar after this performance for sure. Absolutely.
I like how Pete Davidson is supposed to look like.
I'm using my prophetic Star Trek vision, and I'm predicting that he'll win an Oscar, a couple of Oscars, a couple of Grammys, everything, every award for this.
Grammy for
check my face.
Adam, please. Have you seen Suicide Squad?
I saw the trailer this morning, and I feel like I'm the only one in here who had no idea who King Shark was. Because I immediately thought of remember Street Sharks?
Street Sharks.
Yeah, Street Sharks. Street Sharks. Yo, talk about memories.
Exactly what I thought of when I saw that. I was like,
name drop
or something like.
Wow.
Yeah, I saw the trailer. It didn't do anything for me. Like I'm with Ty on this one. I was like, I don't know.
Yeah.
Like, it just didn't excite me. Like the only trailer that's excited me recently has been two. Nobody, which I really want to see, and Godzilla vs. Kong.
Which came out already in China, by the way.
Oh, goddamn you, China!
It's already out. Already got 100% on Rotten Tomatoes.
I mean, can you really trust China's numbers? I mean,
why can't you?
Why they can send us the virus, but can't send us the footage?
No, that sounded really.
That was a little. I didn't
trust their numbers. Can you trust ours?
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, you're right. You got me there, bro.
Damn.
You got me there.
They watch movies too on the same color TVs.
I ain't gonna
lie. Like Ty.
Yeah, that's right.
The Godzilla versus. By the way, I did mention, I think, to some of y'all that Godzilla was going to be discussed this week, not knowing as I'm buffering here, not knowing that it was actually going to be dropped next week. So I guess they sent me. I guess I saw the Chinese release or something, but I didn't know.
Yeah, it's out. It's already out in China. Yeah, it'll be out on the 31st. It'll be out on the 31st here.
Oh, yep, the 31st. Yeah, so we'll be talking about Godzilla vs. King Kong next week, and you look forward to that, huh, Adam?
Before we completely get away from Suicide Squad, are they not going to have the Joker in it because it was so bad, or was that the Joker that shot that bazooka at the end of the trailer?
Great question. Yas, do you have any idea?
I don't, but if they do use the Joker, I pray to God that they don't use Jared Leto as the Joker because I cannot.
Why do you hate him so bad?
Listen, I like Jared Leto. I'm not saying he's a bad actor. I love Jared Leto and other things. As the Joker, he destroyed that character in every form of way.
Why do you say that?
It just was bad. And Justice League, like I actually was like mad that he was in that. Like that little clip, I was like, why? Like, why did they have to do that? Like, one, he looked like shit. Like, he didn't look like the Joker. The Joker doesn't look like shit. He's like polished, dirty nigga. You know what I'm saying? Like, he's thug, like, so I didn't like anything about that whole scene that they showed in the Snyder film with like the flashback of, Batman and him. I thought that was dumb as hell. So I'm just praying that they don't use that Joker again. I didn't like him in the Suicide Squad, to be honest with you. The first one, he was okay. Yeah. He really it didn't really get me excited. You know what I'm saying? I was still like, if they're going to use a Joker for this, like moving forward, DC, they need to use Joaquin Phoenix, like legit. He played and depicted that character as better than anyone that can right now. I mean, you can't go back and use Jack Nicholson as the Joker, and Heath Ledger, unfortunately, rest in peace. He's not around to keep up the charade that the cadence that he just set. So I don't know. I'm not excited for Jared Leto at all to be the Joker. I'm not. I have no faith in him. It's bad.
I agree, but I also have like a slight not necessarily personal vendetta against Jared Leto, but apparently, like, he's kind of doing a cult, like the appropriation cult shit now.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, where he's like, hey, come to our camp and embrace your spirituality, and we're gonna charge you this many hundreds or thousands of dollars to do it. So,
whoa, what, is this in real life, or are you talking about in the movie?
No, I'm talking about real life.
That's not new. That's not anything new.
Jared Leto was a cult leader in
Hollywood.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's a culture thing. They've been doing that.
Sorry, Lisa, in the comments.
Publicized.
Wait.
First in her bubble.
So sorry, Lisa. But yeah, we're anti-J.
I don't know what the hate is. I don't know where the hate is coming from, because I actually like them.
I felt like Jared Leto, like you said, he's great in a lot of things, but it didn't seem like he truly understood the character of the Joker.
No,
he played him like a thug, like a badass, or whatever, like don't fuck with me kind of thing. But like, that's really, I don't know. It was so far removed from what I view the Joker as. Like his
laugh was horrible.
Yeah, like the Joker, he's smarter than that. Like he's not like the way Jared Leto kind of played him was all id, no ego, whereas I feel the Joker is very calculated.
Yep.
Yeah.
I think that
was completely missing from Jared Leto's version.
I think y'all are underestimating how brilliant Jared Leto thinks Jared Leto is. It's not that he misunderstands the Joker character. It's that we have all misunderstood it for decades. And Jared Leto has he's finally cracked the code, and he's doing what Jack Nicholson meant to do and what Heath Ledger meant to do. So in order to appreciate Jared Leto, you have to understand how Jared Leto thinks of himself. So so I'm looking at things from his perspective, and he nailed it. Nailed it.
Come on, bro.
I guess today I'm taking the side of all the. I guess I'm taking the side of the villains today because I think the fact that everybody is saying that I get it. The original Suicide Squad, Jared Leto, was corny. The gold teeth in the mouth. Yeah. All of the tattoos, all of that. Like, that was unnecessary. That was unnecessary. But that Jared Leto is not necessarily this Jared Leto. Now we got a small sample size and we got a little bit of dialogue. What I did like was the sinister laugh. His little I thought that was pretty on point. And then when it comes down to it, somebody said that he's calculated and everything like that. I don't think he said anything that would mislead you and make you think he wasn't. They were having a little conversation. Batman told him, be careful what you say. And this nigga was like, fuck what you saying. I'm gonna talk about how I killed your friend. You know what I'm saying? Like, I think that is, if you know the Joker has always been a master antagonist to Batman. That is literally what he's here for, is to antagonize Batman. Like he told him, there is no me without you, and there is no you without me. It's literally that we have to go back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. We have a small sample size. I think y'all really are kicking Jared while he's down. I think y'all might be surprised if they do a movie. I think he might show y'all something, man.
It'll be trash. It'll be trash. It's okay. I'm sorry. That laugh was fucking
You're muted,
horrible.
Vince.
I gotta agree with Yaz on that one now.
That laugh was fucking horrible. It was the worst Joker laugh I think I've ever heard. And I'm sorry. I love the Joker. I love everything about him. I love the fact that he's conniving. I love that he's cunning. I love that he's strategic. You know what I'm saying? I love the Joker. The Joker is like, he's like the Riddler on crack. You know what I'm saying? And that's what I love about him. I love how, you know, he strategically does things to fuck with Batman. That's, you know, like that's how we fall in love with him so well. And I just feel like Jared Leto, like exactly how Heath Ledger did that. Like he's baiting him. You know what I'm saying? Like that's the Joker. And I get what you're saying on that. I just feel like Jared Leto did not capture that in a way that I'm acceptance of his way of capturing it. He might have thought he did a great job, and you might have thought he did a great job, and I appreciate your opinion and his, but I just feel like Jared Leto is trash as the Joker.
And I am with Yaz's camp on this one. Just even the laugh, because I don't know how old everybody is, but I grew up on the Mark Hamill laugh from the animated series. I remember like once, I don't know whether I was drunk or high, and I was watching the one with Jack Nicholson and everything. And then I saw the one with Heath Ledger. Was it the same laugh? No. But it just the way he portrayed that character was just beautiful. It was perfect. It was conniving. He had points that you didn't want to agree with, but you realize he wasn't wrong. And then you have Jared Leto, and it's just like, what happened?
Well, you know, I'm not on Team Jared Leto, but in Jared Leto's defense, I'm gonna say that what you all hate about Jared Leto, I don't think it's Jared Leto's fault. Frankly, I think Jared Leto was led by the director of the movie to be the gangster, gold teeth Jared Leto Joker that he was. And ultimately, it was DC flaw, which, again, we come back to the DC fallacies of creating multiple characters at once.
Right.
So now we have not only Jared Leto's version in Suicide Squad that's now starting to transfer into the Justice League, but we also have the Heath Ledger. The Heath Ledger version, of course, is going to, you know, is basically like he has Black Panther type of legacy. As he leaves posthumously with the best Joker performance, frankly, for my opinion. But we also have Joaquin Phoenix and Jerome in Gotham. So there's like all these different Jokers that we have to come face to face with. And it just so happens that Jared Leto was playing the part of what they wanted to portray as like a gangster Joker in that Suicide Squad universe, which ultimately in this role was damn near Harley's sidekick. You know what I'm saying? Like it seemed like Joker was playing the role.
So exactly
Harley Quinn.
The jealous, not the jealous boyfriend, but the protective boyfriend.
That's my problem with it, though. You know what I'm saying? The Joker is his own man. You know what I'm saying? Like he is Kingpin. You know, like he's like fucking Wilson Fisk. You know what I'm saying? He's the fucking boss. He was not a boss, and that's what just got me so much. You know what I'm saying? He was cheesy. He was just like it was irking to see. Every time I saw him on the camera, I was like, I can't watch this shit.
But is it maybe that? And that's what I was kind of like alluding to earlier when I said that. I was saying like the fact that you keep speaking of him, you know, in the person of the Suicide Squads. I'm just saying that maybe this Snyderverse Joker is not the same Joker as that Suicide Squad. That's why I said the whole gold teeth thug, you know, tatted up. That we got a very small sample size in that epologue. We got just enough to let you know that Superman went ballistic, and we're in a whole nother. We're in a post apocalyptic, Earth now. Because he done destroyed, Lois is dead. We know all of this from the epilogue. We know that something happened to Lois. Superman is trying to kill them, and they're trying to kill Superman. We know that. So Joker and Batman are now teammates. We know that from the epilogue. So what I saw was just in that little bit of dialogue between each other was that antagonistic behavior that I always see from the Joker. Batman telling, look, man, I really want to kill you. And he's like, oh, you want to kill me? Well, when I say this, you really going to want to kill me. That's antagonistic. That is antagonistic.
You're 100% right.
At its best. If I'm telling you I want to kill you and then you start talking about my mama, Something is wrong with you.
You're right, but that wasn't my problem though. That's what I'm saying. Like even Batman, like Batman, you were like, oh shit, Batman's about to fucking hop on this nigga. You know what I'm saying? Like the Joker, like his antagonization, it just wasn't the Joker. Like that's what I'm saying. Like I get what you're saying, but each actor can take things and form it and twist it into a way that it's like you said, Bucky was not believable for you. He didn't really sell the whole soldier thing. He's not selling me the Joker. He's not. He's trying, and I get that. This is the Snyder's version of the Joker. I get that. I don't have a fucking problem with him being a gangster with gold teeth and face tats and all that shit. I don't. But if you're gonna play the role, play the damn role, dog. Like be gangster, be a damn thug. Like I want to see you fucking like messing with people. I want to see you doing some psychotic ass shit. You're the Joker. That is what you do. You know what I'm saying?
But Suicide Squad wasn't his movie, Yas. He wasn't even in it like that. Like for you to be talking about him like he did a whole bunch into it. Saw him for like 2 scenes. I
know, but that's not what I'm getting at. I'm saying in all, okay, if Jared Leto in his character, he didn't do it for me. Like I'm not, no. I'm my underwear are dry, right? Like they're no. Like you know what I'm saying? Like no, like it's just not happening. Like it didn't do it for me. That's all I'm saying.
You're muted, Vince.
Take a mute button now, bro. Take a mute button now.
You're still muted.
We can't hear you, man. We can't hear you.
My bad. I don't know what happened. That was somebody hating. That was the Joker in my system here. Oh, you still can't hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
You can hear me? Okay, cool. Yeah. The funny thing is, like, I'm physically and mentally and psychologically and theoretically between Yas and Ty. Like, I'm not against Jared Leto playing the Joker. I'm against the version of the Joker that was in Suicide Squad more than I am against Jared Leto himself. Same. I think that Ty is right that we got a tiny morsel of Jared Leto as Joker in Suicide Squad, and that morsel was nasty. It tasted like ass, which is why we don't want it. We spit it out. We don't want that version, especially because look at what we have to compare it to. Mark Hamill as the voice, Heath Ledger as the Joker, Joaquin. I keep saying Joaquin because I keep thinking of Joaquin Noah from the Bulls. But Joaquin Phoenix,
even old boy off of Gotham.
Yeah.
Even Jerome. Yeah, so Jerome. Now we've got this freaking guy with his gold teeth looking like Gucci Mane meets the Joker in Suicide Squad. It just doesn't sit right with us because we already have our standards up here when it comes to our Jokers. So we can't just get any old pussy-ass Joker. We need somebody to stand up. And keep in mind, this Suicide Squad hit before the Joker movie hit. So this was the next Joker on screen that we were introduced to after losing Heath Ledger, who I still think was the best Joker, even over Jack Nicholson. I agree. I just think that he unfortunately was in the wrong script, in the wrong movie at the wrong time.
Jack, boy, I wish we could get Jack on the show so he could curse you out, boy.
Listen, I love Jack. He was better than
Jack. Oh my God, that's the whole scene with him dancing down the street and pulling that big ass gun out of his pants and shooting
the Thor hat.
Hey Ty.
He revolutionized the role, man.
Look at TJ Legacy's comment though. I'm dying right now.
Oh shoot, what did TJ say?
Oh God. That's how I felt, TJ. That's how I felt. Can you
I think y'all gonna be real surprised. I'm honest. I'm being honest with that. I think, like I said, if we can get past, if just for a second we can get past that whole little couple of episodes on Suicide Squad, I think the Snyderverse, the writing is so good.
I got you.
The difference in how we perceive characters from the Joss Whedon to the Snyder cut. We now know and have a true love for Cyborg. We see how Snyder literally went through detail after detail of getting this man his credit. I think he's gonna do that if he's allowed to with each character. Martian Manhunter, Joker. Because look, we got a fit Ben Affleck a back, and listen, that's big. That's big, yo. That's big because everybody's problem was he looked fat and out of shape. Now we getting a fit Ben, and I'm gonna be honest. A fit Ben is a good Batman. He is. A fit Ben is a good Batman, man.
I don't know. Ben as Batman is just like Ben in general. Like, why are we still using him? Like, he's all I have a question about. I'm just saying, in everything Ben has been in, what? Please tell me what's your favorite.
What? Ben has been in some good stuff. Don't do that.
Ben.
Yeah, Ben has been in some good stuff. Don't play Ben like that now.
Yeah, the Town. Okay.
Yeah,
Jersey Girl.
I was like the bank robbery movie.
The Town.
Yeah, he's been in some good stuff. Now,
okay, so you guys named 2 movies. You guys named 2 movies. How many fucking movies has he been in? Y'all only named 2. He did
Goodwill Hunting. Look, let me put it like this.
On the Oscars, let
me put it like this. Look, Yaz is judging Ben based on his comic book movies.
No.
Every movie that Ben Affleck had some role in orchestrating. In other words, he was a writer or director or producer. In those movies, he kills it. I'm gonna keep it real.
Yes,
Goodwill Hunting, he destroyed. The Town was great. Jersey Girl, phenomenal.
I think women hate Ben because Ben cheated on.
Definitely not.
I think women never forget that type of shit. They be like, I hate him. He's a fucking cheater. And honestly, if you look at Ben's career, Ben was a box office pull. Like he was a box office pull. Like you could pull when they brought him on for Justice League. I guarantee you they paid that man big money. Big money to
Justice League, when they brought him on for Batman vs Superman. When they rebooted, I mean, I for one, I'm still in the minority, and I'm going to maintain my position on saying that Dawn of Justice was not as bad as everybody's trying to make it out. Yes, long. Yes, it had some lulls where there wasn't a lot of action. But overall, I still like Dawn of Justice. Now, I did go back and rewatch it, and I did notice that it was a little slower than I originally, than like in the movie. I think I gave it a pass because it starts off with so much action, like with the fight with Kal-El and Jor-El, not Jor-El, but Zod in the very beginning. So I still think that Superman vs. Batman Dawn of Justice was good. It introduced us to the new version of Lex Luthor. It introduced us to Wonder Woman. It gave us Doomsday. Even though I think that they went to the Superman death way too quick. But I mean, that's not too far from Marvel. Marvel actually, I think the Civil War saga was done too quickly as well. That could have been a whole 3 movies. I think they'll probably do better with Secret Wars, but the Civil War was a huge deal in the comic book universe. Like it went on for like a year or 2, you know what I'm saying? Before there was any conclusions with the literature of it. So I don't know if I'm going to write off Ben as a terrible Batman. I think that. Go ahead, yes.
I just think you guys are looking at the whole picture of the movies that he's been in, not his actual acting. That's just what I'm going at. You guys are looking at, the movie was good, like Jersey Girl. Yeah, it was a good movie. His acting
Ben is a good actor, man.
Okay, you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know. Lisa agrees with me in the comments, so I saw
you and Lisa.
Let's ask the actor. Let's ask the actual actor. What say you, Adam, about Ben Affleck?
The guy has such a big body of work. I have to say,
thank you.
There's some things that are great. There's some things that are not good. But I mean, that comes with any big body of work. But I mean, Argo, The Town,
Argo,
The Accountant. I don't know if you ever saw.
Yes, that was really good. He was a hitman.
Like I said, the movie was good. Was his acting good though?
Yes, he was the main character. He's in a lot of those movies. He's the main character. You don't.
I know Tyrone has been very quiet this whole time.
Tyrone, say something.
Tyrone's been quiet as hell. Like,
no, Ben Affleck is a decent actor. I think so I'm just gonna go on record. After watching the Snyder Cut of Justice League, did not like any of it. I don't like. I think it's. I think it's gonna be. Yeah, it's gonna be weird. I think the best thing that DC could do is stop messing with Zack Snyder. That's my honest opinion. Yeah, I think I'm just what I have found is that I'm not a fan of Zack Snyder's style. I didn't like Dawn of Justice. I didn't like the Justice League Snyder Cut. I didn't like the Whedon version either. But yeah, I have so many.
Ty, we might have to take a break. Why
We
did we
reverse
just
roles here, man. What are you doing, man?
I gotta be honest.
Breaking what are you doing?
Yeah, I gotta be honest.
Doesn't like Snyder. Can we just put this on the record?
And I'm glad I can do this because my optimism isn't just delusion. You know, it's based on like. Let me ask you a Justice League question. Like, so this is a fight for the world and the universe, and it's like it's like end of days kind of stuff. And like all of Atlantis and all of the Amazons they have are just like, well, I hope they do good fighting. They're just like hanging out, just hoping things are okay. Like they didn't even join the fight. Like, why are y'all just chilling?
Well, I don't think the Amazonians are allowed to leave Amazon.
Yeah, they're not.
That's why Wonder Woman's so special because
they were able to go and chase Jason Momoa down when he was hanging out in different places in the Aquaman movie. They have all like the technology where they can breathe outside of the water and stuff.
Well, can I answer that question?
They're chasing his mom.
Yes.
Go ahead.
Well,
Tyler.
let me answer that question. The reason that you didn't see all of the Amazons, all of the Atlanteans, and everything is because the real boss never showed up. And like that's what you have to. That they were like the Justice League was just fighting with like the third in charge, like the fourth. Like he was like the fourth on the list of people. He basically sent like his driver to go take over the world. Like, you know what I mean? So there was really no reason to bring everybody to that. This wasn't Thanos. This was Steppenwolf. You know what I'm saying? Now, when Darkseid comes, then you bring everybody and their mama to the fight like you did when Thanos came. It's like that's usually how it works.
Well, and that's my biggest problem with the Justice League movie is that it's like for me it's like a 4-hour trailer for a bunch of better possible movies, like this post-apocalyptic situation where Superman's going to. I want to see that movie. Like, show me that movie where like there's some stuff happening. The Martian Manhunter doing his thing. Any of the Flash parts that happen, it's like, okay, like this dude's like can literally turn back time and stuff like that. But like we just get to see it in this little brief moment. There's in order for me to enjoy Justice League as it's presented, I got to be like, man, there's a lot of good possible stuff out there that, if I use my imagination and fill in a lot of blanks, like create entire new movies with my imagination, Justice League was awesome.
But Ty, if you went to work tomorrow and your job told you, listen, this could possibly be your last day. But you can stay, but you're going to have to work harder than you ever worked. And we're going to have to feel like you did it. And you know what I'm saying? Did it just enough to keep you. That's literally how Zach had to write the script.
Oh, wow.
Warner Brothers was like, look, we're not giving you another movie after this. We really don't even want to do this one, but you signed a contract, so we'll do it. You know what I'm saying? That's how Warner Brothers was literally in negotiations with him. Like, we're not really trying to help you do anything. Like, do what you got to do. So here's Zach like, okay, if this is my last movie, let me do something profound to where everybody's buzzing about it. So if Warner Brothers wants to drop me or somehow, some way we can get DC away from the, Warner Brothers, like, what Marvel just did with Sony and Fox.
And all that, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? If we can do that, like, let's create a buzz. HBO Max has already said, look, I know Warner Brothers don't want to do it, but we sure as hell want to do some shit with a series or something. It doesn't have to be a movie, but you could do a Justice League series. Bro, this like literally he touched on so many things. Granted, 4 hours. You're right. I had to stop and go and eat and come back and 2 or 3 times. But ultimately, we got so many details and so much stuff that we didn't get before. And now we're thirsty, just like Marvel does it with us. We're hoping that Zach can do that with a series, or Zach can bring DC back into the fold because they've been gone for so long. So, man, this for me was really a step in the right direction for DC, man.
I do have to say that it is definitely, before Ty answers, it's definitely breaking news that Tyrone thinks something is not great. This is the first time in New Blerd Order history that Tyrone has had a negative comment about anything. And we've talked about everything.
Yep.
And Tyrone has been, he's normally will. It shocks me that he says that he wasn't impressed. He would normally, I'm assuming he would be like, it wasn't my favorite, or could have been better. He's like, I didn't like it at all. I'm like, oh shit, who are you? But just to kind of piggyback off of something Ty was talking about, there is like a little bit of a backlash right now with regard to the Snyder Cut. And DC, for all their mishaps, are lobbying to do this one right. Like they actually want to continue. But unfortunately, it seems like WB, Warner Brothers, is not necessarily giving them the opportunity to move forward with what seems to be, with the exception of Tyrone's opinion, a successful business model for the Justice League movies. Even in an article that stated exactly what happened, that the Justice League proves Warner Brothers had a big opportunity to compete with Marvel, but the impatience and the panic because they're still getting on Zack about that Batman versus Superman movie. And they're still not giving him the full gist of his reward as a result of that. And so now, even though he came back strong, this is like when, let's say back in the day when A-Rod or Pujols or I don't know, Frank Poppy would hit a ball, hit it out the park, but only at their fourth at bat, like right in the eighth inning, and as opposed to like the first few when he should have hit the grand slam. It's like, oh damn, Poppy, you messed up. But he came back strong. Now, here's where I think it could have been maybe a little better. Maybe not releasing all the parts at once. This actually could have been a legitimate series.
Could have.
In the Justice League universe. I could have easily seen them releasing part 1 and me being like, oh man, I can't wait to see what they do in part 2. You know what I'm saying? But they put it all out there. But that's what Netflix does, which we have somebody who's on Netflix on the panel as well. So, I'm shocked that what did you not like about it, bro? I mean, specifically, like,
I'm happy to.
I'm not a DC fan.
Dig in, explain.
Yeah, man, give us the specifics, bro, because this is literal breaking. Like, this is a big deal, bro. What's going on?
Yeah, I thought so. Again, I will say I found that I'm just not a fan of if this is like Zack Snyder's vision, like if this was Zack Snyder's unfiltered vision, the way he wants to do it. I'm just not a fan of what Zack Snyder has to offer. I thought that because even still, we're still talking about the best thing being like what could possibly be. Right. After all of that, and after all of this time waiting for the Zack Snyder cut, how it's really supposed to be presented, and the true version of this film, there's so many moments for me in that movie where I'm just like, this isn't even how people talk. Like, this is like, do you just not know how people talk to each other? I mean, they talk in little, in these little. Like the specific moment I'm thinking of as they're kind of going over their plan of how they're going to go in, and they start to kind of like they one person says something and then they pass it to the next person, and it's like this really weird dialogue scene where they're finishing each other's sentences, and I guess that's supposed to be us being like, oh, they're a team now because they can do this bit, and like everything just seems so. When I'm looking at like the storytelling in Zack Snyder stuff, if it's not action, it's exposition. And there's nothing to really make me care. Like, I didn't care about anybody.
Wow.
You know what I mean? And that's just me. That's my personal opinion. So that's
Wow.
That's crazy. Because all of us and Jesse in the comments disagree with you, bro.
Yo.
And
Jesse wrote an essay on you, bro. You made him. He is.
Oh man, I gotta read now. Come on,
He did
man.
right now.
Wow.
Oh,
Damn.
Let me
read it in the actual.
I'm gonna have to read that afterwards, man. That takes way too much. I'm gonna print that out. Well, you are in the minority here, bro, and that's typically unusual. But we respect your wrong opinion. And
I'm fine with that. I just want to put my opinion out there and just let people know. For all of you, like me who didn't jump on the hype train, just understand that we may, people may kick us, people may sneer at us and throw Rotten Tomatoes at us in the town square, but we do have, there's a small community of us out there who just, we like to.
Well, let me ask you this. I say you say you didn't like the other. So did you like the original Justice League? I
didn't like the Whedon version either. I thought it was just it was and to be fair, the Snyder Cut was better than the original version, better than the Whedon version that put out. It was better. Low bar, but it was better. I think the only Zack Snyder movie that I really appreciated was Man of Steel. I think that was actually like a good story, and it was done well, and you know, yeah, and it was so. I just think it when they were trying to do the team up thing, and they were given, and maybe it is because they were just giving him a lot to just throw into one movie, and they're like, hey, guess what? Introduce all these characters, but do it in like 3-minute conversations. Give us all the stuff we need to care about in about 3 minutes, so we can just do this action scene real quick. And that doesn't give me what I need to sit down through 4 hours. I actually watched Infinity War after watching that Snyder Cut, just to kind of see, you know, how that felt and you know, and the difference between it. And I was like, man, Infinity War, everybody who popped up on that screen is like, I care about this person. I care to see what happens to them. You know, and I hope nothing bad happens to this person, you know, that sort of thing. But when Batman pops up, I'm like, okay, he's going to grumble at me for another 30 seconds and then like shoot a grappling hook somewhere or whatever. And it's like, oh, Flash has a little quip, and then he's gonna like trip on himself or whatever. It's like, it was just kind of the characters didn't have a lot of depth.
Well, I mean, all right. At least you were satisfied with the character arc of Cyborg, right? I mean, one of the things that I liked about this Zack Snyder cut was the fact that we did get a bigger, a broader view and glimpse of the Cyborg backstory. Did that at least touch you, Tyrone?
Yeah, I agree that if they did a good job finally giving him a decent origin story, understanding his character at a deeper level, and I would say of anybody on the screen, I cared about him the most. And it's because we actually got to see like why he was the way he was, the stuff that he went through, that sort of thing. When we didn't get to see that really at any point in Dawn of Justice or Justice League, especially with Batman, who's supposed to be like the person we're leaning on to carry this movie, supposedly. Gratefully, Cyborg came in and kind of saved it in a lot of parts. But even then, there's a lot of stuff that, a lot of the Cyborg story was typical hero origin tropes. I was the football guy, and then, my mom died, and then my dad died. And I'm just mad about that. But we don't really get to see like who was he before any of it. All we knew was he was mad that his dad wasn't there.
That would have been another hour and a half right there in itself, like to go into all of that. Like I said, I think with what you may not, I mean, I'm not even gonna say you're not grasping because I know better, but what you're not acknowledging is, again, you are working under duress. You have the production company telling you, yo, your days are numbered. Don't think about making nothing else after this because we're not picking it up. We're done. Like whoever you ticked off in the Warner Brothers office is like literally like F you. And so he had to literally, 4 hours. So you realize he probably cut out another hour and a half just to get it down to 4 hours.
But this wasn't supposed to be his, like, this is my vision. This is the way I want this to look. And this is why we're calling it the Snyder Cut. This is why we waited so long. Wasn't this was supposed to be the representative version of his vision without any kind of
without Joss
shackles.
Whedon's hands in it.
Because
Joss Whedon already put out his version, the studio was not willing to go back and do a whole movie over. So he, instead of him doing his actual cut, you're now sitting here taking pieces of your cut and splicing them into this other cut that was already done. And that's what I'm saying. He didn't have a lot of time to do what should have been done, which I agree would have been better if you just did 6 individual movies and did an origin story for each character. That would have been dope. But the fact that he couldn't.
Let me cut in here. You guys, the banter between y'all is
I know.
pretty magical. Y'all should do y'all own show or something. Maybe one day
it's coming. It's be cool.
Very soon. Very soon. Dope if y'all like had your own little thing.
Man, it's coming.
Yeah, what we're gonna do is we're gonna zip ourselves into the same sleeping bag, and then we're going to be face to face, and then we're gonna have these disagreements.
No, don't forget, Tyrone. We gotta have our legs locked.
Yeah.
And
then you just be able to see toes. You'd be like, whose toes are those down coming out of the sleeping bag? And that's the whole thing. It's like this one's my toe. And so it's we're gonna dive into all of the logistics of that show and stuff. But yes, if you like what you're seeing here, then stay tuned.
The Ty Towcast is coming your way, everybody. We're gonna go ahead and get up out of here, y'all. We're already 3 minutes over our allotted time. I want to say thank you to my homie Adam for stopping through. Adam, look like you had something to say real quick though.
I was gonna say, to touch on what Tyrone was saying about the hype train. I mean, if you remember when Star Wars Episode 1 came out, people were all excited about it. They thought it was the greatest thing ever. And now people look back on it and go, it was trash. It could just be that it's, new and fresh, and people are like, this is great. We might look back on it 5 years from now and go, why did we like this?
Yeah, well, I know who didn't understand any of that trash talk was my boy Jar Jar. Still doesn't understand why he had to drag that movie.
Love Jar Jar.
I mean, Jar Jar, in all honesty, made that movie great. And y'all need to put some respect on his names and his eyeballs, because Misa no having no boomer. Is that dude on my left leg. And odd story, which we won't get into now because we're wrapping up. But odd story, I've read an article that said that Jar Jar was actually meant to be the villain in that movie, but people hated him so much that they had to rewrite the script. And that sucks, because that would have been real cool to see Jar Jar come out with a double-sided lightsaber and start kicking ass. But that's a story for another week. But as we wrap up, man, Adam, congrats on your success, my man. Congrats on everything you're doing. We didn't even get to really get into all that Adam has done on his screen, man. Adam, again, in the MCU, Adam actually did act as well in a small short screen flick that we didn't really get the chance to showcase. But I don't know if you remember doing this, Adam, but I did see you in Swamp Murders 2 there, bro. And I thought that was pretty cool, man. He had a speaking role. It was pretty dope. But thank you so much for joining us, big bro. Where can we see you next? Or is there anything we can look forward to seeing? Or where can we follow you? What's going on?
I mean, they can find me on YouTube. Just look for Adam Murray. Or if they're in the Jacksonville area, I'm at the Comedy Zone with Felipe Esparza next week, April 1st, 2nd, and 3rd.
Oh, I know somebody that's in the Jacksonville area. Hello.
What up?
Do y'all need an opener by chance? Because this guy right here, if he's not foot tangled with Ty, doing something that day.
Protocol.
That's a Felipe Esparza question.
Yeah, I know. I'm just messing with you. I'm not asking for a gig. I mean, unless you're gonna do it, you know what I'm saying? But low key, Tyrone is hilarious stand-up wise. I keep telling Tylene that he's gonna look at Tyrone completely different when he gets to see him do a stand-up. But once again, man, big up to you, Adam, and thanks so much for joining us on this long ass podcast, in which I think you may have zoned out on us a couple times.
Mostly what I was doing is my iPad to look up some stuff.
Oh, all right. I'm just fucking with you,
I was
bro.
remembering right.
Nah, man, it's all love, big bro. Thank you so much for joining us. And everybody, make sure y'all check out Hillbilly Elegy, as it has been nominated for 2 Academy Awards. Now, on to my home girl, Phoenix Midnight. Phoenix, I know where we can see you next week, but where can we find you if we want to, just be a fan of you and your work?
So you can find me on Facebook as Phoenix Midnight. I have my profile on my page. You can find me on Instagram as well. Same thing, Phoenix Midnight. I may or may not be working on an OnlyFans. Look, man, my kid gotta eat. So
yeah, man.
And then of course, you can check me out. Next Friday is when Strip Track happens. The room's gonna open up at 8. Show's gonna start out at 9 o'clock. You get your VIP tickets. You can come and hang out with me and some of the other cast members. After the show, you got to do something special for First Contact Day. This is the show to do it.
Yo, I love the concept of thirst contact, yo. That's good play on words as it pertains to the movie. And Phoenix, for those of y'all don't know, does design her own flasks and does a lot of different things merchandise-wise. So I think she's got it, as Yas would call it, itsy.
Etsy store is fiery and fierce. And yeah, I got a whole bunch of different designs.
Wow. Oh, Black Drinks Matter. Oh, and okay, she's in Gainesville, so that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
They're coming out.
I got one more.
Well, hey, now that one I like. I love that one. That actually goes with my little. I got my little thing right here. You know what I'm saying? I don't know if you ever,
Well, shoot, man, I'll send you my Cash App, my Venmo, my PayPal. You can put it in there.
Yeah. Okay. Hey, listen, I'm definitely going to contribute my hard-earned stimulus to some of that to this show. So make sure you all check out Phoenix McKnight. She will be live on display this upcoming weekend, next week. So get your tickets now before they are sold out. A couple quick announcements before we let everybody go. We're gonna go ahead and have our homies stand by. And Ty, did you have anything else to not like before we?
I hate food. You guys ever tried food? Nah, I'm just kidding. Zack Snyder got me, but other than that, I'm good. Everything is great. The world is great. Food's great. The show is great. You guys are great. I gotta like restack the optimism just so I don't have to go out on a bad note. Yeah, I don't want to lose my brand. You better bring
all the happiness next week. No, none of this, flip flopping shit.
Yeah, I'm gonna come dressed. I'm gonna come full Joker smile, and no gold teeth though. No gold teeth and no tats.
No gold teeth. Okay, you're gonna see him in the Burlesque show too. He's gonna be this version of the Joker. All right, thanks, Ty. Stand by, guys. We're gonna talk a little bit after this. But of course, the gang. We want to talk about our quick announcement. We do have an event next week. Excuse me, not next week, but next month. Not even next month. 2 months from now. At the Geek Easy, we will be live. And I'm talking about all the way live. Oh, no, what you doing, baby? Yes, well, we doing it all the way live. We are requiring Star Wars masks for you to come on out to our live taping of the new Blerd Order. Here is some of the folks who's going to be there. Some of the familiar faces of what you've seen. One Daniel Biddle, Marvin Izquierdo, Chris Alexander, Luke Dupuis, even Minnie and the homie LJ, also known as Mazoku, will be in the building. Get your tickets now, which they are not on sale because it's free before 8 p.m. But we will be giving out some VIP type tickets and doing things like that. But I'm looking very forward to this, man. I don't know about y'all, but this will be a combination of stand-up comedy and live taping. So you want to be in the building. And this might be breaking news for some of the people in the cast, but we're planning to do a live broadcast, or a Blerdcast, so we should call it, on May the 4th as well, with a whole host of folks that love Star Wars, because that is officially Star Wars Day. So on the way out, man, any news, Yas? Anything other than your green screen and your lovely new setup that we have to look forward to with you and up?
Yes. I just want to let all the Blerds know that we are officially going to be having official new Blerd Order merchandise. It'll be popping up soon. So I'm wearing some of it already right now, as you see. Representing for the Blerds. So look forward for that. I'll start sending you guys, some little sneak peeks of things in the page in the group chat. But stay tuned. It's gonna be some great stuff coming up. I'm excited.
Yes. All right, Ty. Anything on the way out home? Boy, what's popping, man? Can we catch you?
Yo. News flash. For all those that love the Ty and the good Ty and the bad Ty, we got a show that we put together. It's going to be popping off Tuesday at 6:30. We're going to say 6:30 for sure. You know what I'm saying? The name of the show, Ty. I'm throwing this out here now, Ty, because I sent you a text. You ain't respond, but
I just responded.
How about right? The name of the show is going to be Untied. So we gonna get it open. We gonna get pause. We gonna it's gonna be crazy. We gonna talk about a lot of crazy stuff. You just gotta tune in to see what we gonna say. You better believe he ain't gonna be doing all of that negative stuff, that's gonna be left over here, right here, man. I'm gonna be, you know, this guy, he's the optimist, man. We got to keep him optimized.
Yo, be your natural self. But yo, look at his face. He looks like the son on the box of Raisin Bran.
Right. Happy.
Well, yo, that's exciting.
He looks like what was that? What was the kid who used to the Oscar Mayer Wiener? The Oscar Mayer Wiener. He used to smile like that.
Yeah, if we didn't age ourselves before, we definitely did now, man. All right, so y'all bask in all this light-skinnedness as Ty and Ty will be coming to you untied. Love it, bro. That's a big deal, man. And everything else that they'll discuss will be announced. So look out on the new Blerd Order Facebook page and possibly even the Instagram, where we will be making those announcements. As for me, I mean, I ain't nobody. I'm just doing the same old regular old thing. But I'm really looking forward to a few upcoming shows. One in Sanford in a couple weeks. I'll be downtown Orlando next week at my man Will Mills spot, which I can't remember the name of right now, but I think I'm still on that, and a couple other things. But you know, just follow the page if you want to find out anything about that. But most importantly, please be your authentic self. Because if you're not being yourself, what is you being? Fake. And that is intolerable. And even Tyrone will tell you that. And like I always say, no matter what you do, wherever you go on ahead, let that geek flag fly. Holla at your boy.
Fighter 2, I just really hate Zangief, only Ken and Ra. You, I find it hard to be Blanca, keep a wee ninja hanging and the uncle album banging. If you negative in energy, then stay out the vicinity. Yeah, them niggas over there. Yeah, now look at what I wear.